Salute everyone. Good evening. Knicks Real Talk. We in the building, man. About to popping, man. Knicks Real Talk season recap. Knicks end of season player review. Tonight's player gonna be Evan Fournier, man. We're gonna get in here and talk about Evan Fournier's season, break down the stats, some of the highlights, what he means to the team, and all that good stuff, man. So we get into all that, man. Salute to the chat, salute to everybody, man. And I got my partners of crime up here. We always, man. My man, Shop Powers, KJ, Vince. Shop Powers, what's good, fam?
Salute to you, Divine. Salute, KJ. Salute to the chat.
Ryan. Oh, good. No, you
Let's
good.
get it.
Yes, sir. KJ,
Devon,
man,
shout salute. Of course, our first cousins in the chat, salute to you all. I know y'all ready for this Nick Real Talk. Evan Fournier time. Let's get into it.
Yes, indeed, man. Salute to everybody, man. All of y'all had a great Sunday. And y'all out there chilling, enjoy yourself. Happy Easter to all you, man. All you who dwell in that, man. Salute to you guys. Happy Easter and all that to you guys, man, ladies and gents. Just like I said, man, nice, beautiful Sunday. We here, man. Next we'll talk. We in the building, man. I got Shop Powers, like I said, in KJ. We're gonna talk about Evan Fournier night. Evan Fournier obviously was a free agent Knicks board in the summer to fill a shooting guard spot, man. And so we're gonna talk about him, man, his seasons, ups and downs, and his stats, his numbers, and all that, man. So, like I said, along with the Knicks, man, we didn't have a too good of a season, and him and a couple other guys was part of that. But we got to get into it. We got to break it all down, man, and recap what we seen for Evan Fournier, seeing what he did, what he liked, what you didn't like, and what's going to be for him moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to getting into it with the brothers, man. But Evan Fournier was an interesting player for us this year. Came in, signed as a free agent, 4-year deal with a team option on it last year, looking to fill that spot, man. That RJ Barrett had because Reggie Bullock left, and they moved RJ to the 3. So they brought in Evan Fournier to fill the 2 spot, and he was a shooting guard for us, man. Excellent 3-point shooter. Obviously, he broke the Knicks 3-point record for the most in history as a 3-point shooter. But he had a subpar season, man. Ups and downs. Started off pretty rough, ended up pretty decent. So we get into his numbers and everything, and all that. Rashad, what y'all think about Evan Fournier, man? Him becoming a Knick this year.
In the beginning of the year, we thought big about Evan Fournier. Thought he could come in here and knock down some shots for us, make some, drive the ball a little bit and stuff like that. The start of the season, he didn't get acclimated with the team at first. Took him a little bit of time to get his groove going on and stuff like that. Between him and Randall, they started getting a little connection, and beginning of the year wasn't that great. End of the year, he turned it around a little bit, and his stock is up. So let's see what we're gonna do with Evan Fournier.
Yeah, KJ, what's your thoughts on Evan Fournier, man? He came here, Knicks signed him, man. What do you think how his season went overall?
He had a roller coaster, just like the Knicks season. It was a roller coaster year. It was some good moments. It was some bad moments. But he was a serviceable Knick in my book. When we talk about 3-pointers, we think about guys before him. We think about a Hubert Davis. We think about a Charlie Ward. We think about a J.R. Smith. We think about a John Stark. We think about Jamal Crawford. The names that we haven't had in a long time on this Knicks team. And the biggest thing was a 3-point shooter. He fits that puzzle for the Knicks in that spirit as far as offense. But it was the defense that he lacked this year. So, we'll see as we get more into it, But that's from what I've seen with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, man. Like the whole league didn't shoot good this year. I was looking at some numbers the other day. Like everybody was down. Few people shot at 50% or better. So it might have been that basketball they was talking about. Who knows? But for the Knicks team, from the 2-point percentage line, we didn't shoot good at the team overall. But from the 3-point line, we was around Lee Radford. He shot a better one. He shot a better one at 38% this year for the Knicks. Like I said, the way he started, the way he finishes, two different scenarios. He started earlier, obviously coming out of the Olympics, coming from Boston last year, coming out of the Olympics, straight to the NBA, straight to training camp. Probably didn't get his legs under him for a while, trying to figure out this new team and everything, and trying to build that chemistry with these guys. And it took longer than you expected. So he was definitely at his poorest early in the beginning of the season. But then again, like I said, the second half, I think the second half he turned it around at coming out of the All-Star break, started really catching fire, man. He had some great games, doing some good things, but it was, like like a lot of everybody else, it was ups and downs. You know what I mean? It was one day good, one day bad. It was never really a long, consistent stream of games. It was just like you had one or two or one, and then a couple of you might, it was like, so it was up and down with the consistency with his game. But overall, then I noticed he started getting into the hole a little more, started, coming off the dribble, man, getting into the lane, getting some nice floaters popping off and things of that nature. He was good on that end. But at the same time, I think his downfall, like you said, was his defense, because he just didn't have that ability to stay in front of a lot of guys. He did pretty good as far as getting in passing lanes every now and then, getting steals here and there. But it's, when you counted that the most with individually matchup more than just in the lanes, he wasn't too good this year. And the defense struggled a little bit when he was on the floor. There were a few games that Tom Thibodeau probably kept him out in the fourth quarter, because he needed him. He needed defense on the floor, and I don't think he did that enough this year. But that just happened. We knew what we was getting when we signed him. We knew he wasn't a great defender, so it's really nothing that we should be too concerned about, because the Knicks kind of knew that as well. When they signed Evan Fournier, they knew that the guy couldn't play defense that great. They but anyway, they needed to shoot in the offer. They thought that would make a difference. For me, guys, real quick, I thought it was almost like you could have kept Reggie Bullock, just because Reggie Bullock was knocking down threes at a clip like that last year as well. And his defense was that good. And he had a good rapport with Julius Randle. So that kind of, that's the only reason it was kind of tough for me that when he wasn't really getting it popping this year on the defense end, because I thought we took out defense, brought in three-point shooting, but we kind of also had three-point shooting last year. I think Reggie Bullock shot around close to 40% last year, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like that was the only thing. Other than that, I think he's a good guy overall, good character guy. I like his character as a player. He's a humble dude, man. He's a professional. That's one thing I can say about Evan Fournier. He is a true professional, and that's for sure. And but other than that, man, with the Knicks team overall, I just think that position didn't pan out for us, shot out the way you wanted it to.
Yeah. I had hopes for Evan Fournier this year, and I was hoping that he would been a little bit more consistent this year, scoring wise. He's not the best defender, but he tries. But if you get that first step on him, you see him do this wiggle defense that he tries to get back to try to defend you and stuff like that. I like Evan Fournier, but his contract is a big contract, and right now his stock is up. And the idea of are we going to keep him or let him go is the big topic right now. And I just don't think, me personally, I don't think Evan Fournier is coming off the bench. So if he's not coming off the bench, and we have if he's not going to come off the bench, then we got the Knicks have to come to a conclusion on him to see what they're going to do and how he's going to work it out. I myself don't think that he'll be someone that wants to come off the bench.
Yeah, KJ, he was definitely a interesting ball player for this year. Like I said, you got to take the good with the bad with him. And the good was he could knock that three ball down. After you get your take him, and I just throw a clip up there and let you see what Evan Fournier could do for the Knicks and what he brought to the Knicks this year from an offense standpoint. And but overall, man, like I said, he had a 50-50 year for us.
Absolutely. And thinking about Evan Fournier, he ranks top 25 Knicks all time, 241 3-pointers. You know who else is in that top 20, top 25, top 2? Alec Burke and Emmanuel Quickly. They're right there. So we got 3-point shooters. So what I'm trying to say is we got these guys already that can shoot threes. The 4 years, $73 million, and don't forget it was a sign and trade we did with Boston to get him here, and we got 2 additional second-round picks for that. So was it a business deal too? So it's a lot of things that way we got Evan Fournier, and I didn't feel like the Knicks, they were in panic mode because we didn't sign anybody at the time, and we had to get somebody in here that we said, you know what, we got another 3-point guy in here that can help Julius Randle to jumpstart our offense. They gambled on it, and it went so-so. At times, she said, oh, man, this could work, especially that first game of the season. Then there were other times like, man, the defense was like, come on, man, what's happening? So I think Evan Fournier, he's interesting because, again, we cannot – he doesn't become unrestricted free agent until 2024, 2025 season. So we got 2 more years with Evan Fournier. So my question is, guys, can Evan Fournier play on a New York Knicks with this squad we have right now for the next 2 years? How do you guys feel about that? Because again, he signed a 4-year, $73 million deal. He doesn't come unrestricted to 2 years from now, 2024, 2005. So can he stick with this team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me fix the screen right quick. Sorry about that. Then let's look at him. What he doing right quick. He brought that up. His contract next year, 2022, 2023, $18 million. He got 101.5 million likely incentive. That's $18 million that year. Then 2022, 2024, we got 18, almost 19 million, say $140 million, $4,300 short, 15 million unlikely incentives, and then that's the 37 million. So that's a substantial amount of money for 36 million, excuse me, for the next 2 years. If you think that contract gonna allow us to be competitive, that's something that we're gonna have to see, everybody. But I don't know. Depending on where he going, where we going for the team. I don't have a problem if we're gonna keep trying to fight to be a contender, a competitor, whatever. Okay, if you keep him, so be it. He come off the bench. That's hoping that with it, but I don't think he's start material for what we're trying to do in New York City right now. I do think that we can get somebody at that position that's starting, that's a little bit more efficient defensively, a little bit more all-around game. And if you keep him, then you bring him to the bench. But I think with the way our team is presently constructed with the salary issues, and we capped out right now, he's not a bad contract to move, and I don't think it's a hard contract to move. Shop Howell, I think you can get Evan Fournier to somebody, because that contract is not that bad at all. But I just think that where we trying to go, I don't think he'd get nowhere if he's starting at the 2 guard, because I don't think he's strong enough defensively to help get us where we need to go.
Yeah, like I said, his stocks is up right now. Shooting in the top 25 in the league and stuff like that. His stock is high right now, and a formidable team would easily slide him in somewhere to shoot that good 3-pointer that he shoots from either corner. He's a serviceable guy, man. And I think his biggest thing is the way he runs his defense. And aside from that, man, I think like I said, his stock is high right now, and there's some trades out there that could be talked about Evan Fournier to release him from the New York Knicks, because if we're looking at Reddish as being the starting 3 and pushing RJ back to the 2, I don't see no room for Fournier. I don't really think he comes off the bench as well.
Yeah, you know what, and I know, for me with the Knicks going young, if Reddish, don't get me wrong, Reddish got to come in there and earn that 3 spot. They ain't gonna be given to him. That's probably what we want to do out here. I know I would love to see it, but he got to go in the training camp, show improvement. You know what I mean? Because I don't think you just turn the keys over to him if he's not at a level we think could ever, But I do think he got the talent. Let me put it like that. I think he has the talent to be in that spot where Evan Fournier at, or RJ move back and he'd be there. But we have to see how it comes out of training camp in the off season, what he do and how does he get better and everything. And then we'll see, KJ. But like I said, depending on if they keep in Julius Randle, man, and they think they're gonna do something else, they're gonna keep fighting. I don't know. The Knicks might even trade him. You know what I mean? They might just keep him. They say, well, we're gonna run it back, even if we gotta. I don't think he would have a problem. I'll put it like this here: he don't have a choice coming off the bench. The Knicks want him to come off the bench. He coming off the bench. Let me put it that way. He don't have no say in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if we a team player, and the Knicks do wind up getting somebody that'll take that 2 guard spot and make him better, and he do come off the bench, he's gonna have to live with it. You know what I mean? Because he don't dictate what the team do. So regardless if he want to come off or not, Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks organization say, Evan Fournier, we're gonna pay you. You still want to get your money, but you're gonna come off the bench at the second point guard, the second shooting guard. And part of me, then he just had to deal with it, and it might make the team better.
Right. The good thing about Evan Fournier, he's very consistent. We talk about consistent on the team. The man played 80 games this year.
Facts.
He played 80 games. There's no denying that. That's great. But I cannot see another 80 games with Evan Fournier starting this starting lineup with his New York Knicks team. With the way we want to play as far as defensively, he's a defensive liability. And a lot of people said this going into when we got him. You know, I was one that said, you know what, let's a wait and see type thing. I wanted to see exactly. I wanted to see if the rumors was really true now his defensive liability, and they came to fruition. At times, the defense did look okay. He was a little feisty at times. He could drive to the hole, but he's a for a 3-point shooter. I just feel like the Knicks. I think his ship has sailed with the New York Knicks. I think they want to move in a different direction defensively. He fits offensively, but the defense, we got a guy like Grimes already that can play offense and defense. All right, we got an Alec Burke that can play offense and defense. So we got guys that can knock the 3-point thing down. We got RJ Barry. We got Emmanuel Cook. We got enough guys. And then don't forget, we got Derrick Rose still right there. So think about Evan Fournier. I believe right now that he's a great trade piece for the New York Knicks. The money matches. 3 years left on his deal right now. It'll be 3 years, $54 million. Since somebody put it in the chat. That's a great trade. 2. Say it again.
Yeah, because the other one is a team option, so I know they pick it up.
So yeah, any team could use a 3-point shooter. The man's valuable. 80 games, broke the Knicks record, 241 threes in a year. I mean, that's a trade bargain right there. He can help anybody right now. So I say the Knicks will get rid of him this year. I mean, it's unfortunate because I like Evan Fournier. I thought he did some great things on the New York Knicks. But right now, in this present time, it just doesn't fit what the Knicks want to do offense defensively, as we've seen in the last 5 to 10 games, as far as them running the ball, stretching that floor. Even though he was making them, but his time frame, it just doesn't work no more for the New York Knicks in my case.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, let's get into some of what he did this year, man. Look at some of his highlights real quick and just seeing what the Knicks paid him for. Because this is truly what the Knicks paid him for in these highlights. Because this is pretty much all you're gonna get. But let's get into Evan Fournier, what he did this season, man. Some of his games. We come back off the video and talk about it. Yeah, man, that's Evan Fournier's game right there, offensively, man. Pretty much what you see is what you get right there. That's what's tough for me, guys, is that's about all his game is. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I just didn't see justifying $18 million in the next couple of years for somebody that's all he do. You know what I mean? You can't find nothing else. You can't find a mid-range shot. You can't find a back to the basket. You can't find nothing that but a jump shot, a 3-point shot, and an in the lane occasionally, and no defense. And that's just the reason why I was like, man, this is not cutting it, man. I mean, like I said, it's been from watching and playing basketball and being a Knicks fan all these years. Right? KJ brought up all the 3-point shooters that the Knicks had in them years, but all them dudes play defense, though. JR can play some defense. Other than Jamal probably wasn't that great, but he played better than he probably thought he did when he was younger. But them other guys, man, they play both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? And other than Steve Novak, you know what I mean? But I just think that for $18 million, I just think we can get better there. We can get the same offense with more defense, and I do think with the emergence of Quentin Grimes this summer, maybe he come back up he probably one of the better off season for the Knicks. I know he itching to get back out there because of the injury he suffered late in the season when he was really starting to get his thing popping. He was having in that second half of the year last year, he was sort of having a Manuel Quickly first year type of rookie year at the end of the season. Then he took that knee injury when and he might come back in training camp in a different mode, shot power, then that really might make that man expendable. If Quentin Grimes have a good summer, and defend the way he can defend, he can shoot the ball just like Evan Fournier pretty much to a degree. I mean, one game he had 2 games here, he knocked down 7 threes in the game. So that just lets you know what he's capable of. And I think if the Knicks can get up out of it, man, I just think that you make up for your mistakes. Wash your hands to it, man. The relationship didn't work out, and you move on, and then you go find your new girlfriend. You know what I mean? Hopefully she's gonna be better than this one. You know what I mean? That's what I think they need to do with him.
Yeah, we also got to into consideration, even with not having, excuse me, Reddish as the 3 point, as the small forward, we also might see emergence of Grimes coming into the starting unit, as that two guard. You have a
Mhm.
IQ and a Grimes at the two guard and leave RJ at the three. So I believe Evan Fournier is a little expendable, with the emergence, like you said, with the emergence of Grimes, and if we can make some moves, get a couple of trades back, bring somebody back that can fill in maybe another position that we need or something like that. I think he's a person that you have to look to try to move right now. A reasonable contract. I think he's getting paid right around what he needs to get paid, with the type of skills that he brings to the offense. And I think there's a couple of teams out there that really need someone that can do what Evan Fournier does.
Yeah, real talk. Hey, KJ, what's interesting to me is especially with the mergers of Obi Toppin this year. That's one of another reason why I would love to move on from it, because what I mean is if Randall stay here, there's no way Obi Toppin gets to play on the bench for no 15, 20 minutes. So you're gonna have to find a way to get Obi Toppin acclimated into that starting lineup to me. Unless you're gonna play you're gonna play him somewhere next year, 30 minutes. Obi Toppin gonna want to play 30, 35 minutes next year. There's no way that man not going to if he gonna keep continuing what he's doing. So that's another reason why I think Evan Fournier makes sense to move, because of the emergence of Obi Toppin and beyond everything else we talked about.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Think about something. The Cleveland Cavaliers played three 7-footers in that starting lineup. Devon, you may have mentioned this before. And say we keep Julius Randle and get rid of Evan Fournier. Do we think that Evan Fournier and Julius Randle games match? No, they don't. They didn't really work together out there. So say you get rid of Evan Fournier contract, and now you start Obi Toppin in that starting lineup at the 3, with RJ Barrett at the 2, Julius at the 4, Mitch at the 5, and say IQ. I'm giving you IQ at the 1.
Right.
I mean, Obi at the 3 could work. Cleveland Cavaliers played 3 7-foot players in that starting lineup, and it works. So I'm not saying that it's going to go that way, but if we had to look at something like that, if they bring Julius back with Evan Fournier, those two just don't mix. They don't mix together. It's not going to work. So I believe that Evan Fournier is definitely not going to be here going into next year, guys, because of that reason. I mean, the 3-pointers look good. The man can do some other things on that court. He's consistent as far as playing. He's going to come every single night, played 80 games for the New York Knicks. Great. That's a great stat. But for what the New York Knicks want to do, guys, Evan Fournier is just not matching up for us. They're trying to let his contract go. Find a way to get rid of it, even if we got to give up more to get rid of that contract, to bring more back. We already have young vets here, young infrastructure here that can do what Evan Fournier and then some more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's really what it's all about. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head with that. Is we got a real core down there. We got a core down there that you plug in a little bit more athleticism. Because I think between if Mitch come back and Obi Toppin, them about your 2 most athletic guys. Julius Randle athletic, and RJ kind of athletic. What I mean is he can get up there, but he ain't no Skywalker. But what I mean is the Knicks can move Evan Fournier and bring in somebody 6'10", 6'11" to back up, like I said, Obi, or if Cam Reddish hadn't emerged at the either Cam Reddish becomes the starting 3, or you find the starting 3 and the Cam Reddish becomes the backup 3, and RJ can go back to the 2, or you just move him, let RJ stay where he at, and you just bring in another 2. Can you imagine this hypothetical? If you don't do anything else this year, you can find a way. If you can keep both of them, but I don't know if you can. Let's hypothetically say you move Evan Fournier with this, and this, and picks, and you get Donovan Mitchell in there. Then the problem is solved at the 2. You took a 2 guard out for a 2 guard, and the 2 guard you brought in is pretty much in part of the creme de la creme in the NBA. So you substantially upgraded that 2 guard spot, and even if you slide Emmanuel quickly in there at the 1, you upgraded your 1 guard spot. So we did upgrade the team. We got better defensively and offensively, and we still was able to keep RJ and Randall and Mitchell Robinson in the mix. So I mean that's one way to go. You can look at it, or you can say the other way is to don't go for the Donovan Mitchell, or if he's available. I'm just only speculating if he's available. Then you go after people like that, or you just say, well, you know what, I'm going to roll what I got, but I'm also going to move these guys for some younger guys or somebody who just going to free up cap space for when we're ready to make a strike to somebody. We got the money. Shy Powell, I think so they got an option to take that contract that Evan Fournier got and use it either way. You can use it like KJ said to get the salary up out of here, or you could put it in the trade to bring somebody better in here. But I do think either one of them scenarios will work though for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks got a big thing that they got to do this offseason, man. I know they're on there. I know they're in the war room right now, banging it out. This week coming, well, probably not today, but they've probably been since the season is over to see who they're looking for, who's going to be there. There was some rumors that the Knicks were out in Dallas the other day, and somehow, some way, Julius Randle was also out there in Dallas watching the game over there. So they're out there and they're looking around. They had out there was Brunson out there, and there was also Donovan Mitchell out there. They play against each other, and those could be 2 guys that they may be looking forward to bring over here to New York. And Fournier, the 2 contracts that I really think that the Knicks are really going to strive hard to try to get off of is the Julius Randle contract and the Evan Fournier contract to upgrade their team. And no hits on Fournier. He came in here, like I said in the beginning of the year, he was a little off. He had a couple of wacky games. Didn't play some of the fourth quarters and some of the big time games and stuff like that. But towards the end of the year, he got it together. After the All-Star break and stuff, he started getting it together. I mean, by the new year, he started getting it together, and he really did some things that I enjoyed. I like Evan Fournier. I wanted him to come 2 years ago when the trade deadline before he went to Boston. So let's see what happens with Evan Fournier and where we go from there with him.
Yeah, real talk. Here goes a stat for the year. This is what he did for the Knicks this year, guys. If you look at 2021-22 season, he played 80 games, 29 minutes per game, 5 field goals a game, 12 field goals attempts. He shot 41%. Like I said, the whole league was down. 3.3 attempts, 3 made. 3 field goals made, attempted 7.7. He shot almost close to 39% from the 3. So he was pretty good in that area. Where his big, and then what the surprise to me, guys, is for Evan Fournier to be a good shooter like he is, he just only shot 70% from the free throw line. 77, almost 71%. That's RJ Barrett area, you know what I mean? So almost, you know what I mean? So for him to be as good a shooter as he was, he only shot 70% from the field goal, charity stripe, pardon me. For the charity stripe, he only did 2.6 rebounds, 2 assists. I just think that's not good to me. I think for the money we gave him, you look at them numbers across the board, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He barely shot 70% from the charity stripe. He shot okay from the 3-point line, but the field goal percentage was only 41%. That's not good. So and then on top of that, your defense numbers wasn't there. KJ. So that's why I think that it's hard to justify, that. And now, like I said, everybody had a kind of down year, but that's not good for 14 points a game. And you only shot 70% from the charity stripe, and you were as good as a sniper as you are. You shot 41% from the floor. 2 rebounds, 2 assists from your 2 guard. Devontae Murray's getting you 8 and 9 from the point guard spot and rebounds and assists. I mean, Devontae Murray, but I'm just saying, guys like that, And there's other twos out there. They can give you 6-7 rebounds from the 2 guard spot. They can give you 3 or 4 or 5 assists from the 2 guard spot, along with good defense and along with. So that's why this is so tough for me with Evan Fournier, because I think he underachieved with that contract.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the New York Knicks, man. It's been happening for years with us. You know, if we look at Evan Fournier on another team, he would come into New York, Madison Square Garden, he tears up. He tears up every Boston, Orlando. Evan Fournier would tears up. We put him on our team. We look at a different microscope. We see different lens. We put these guys on our team. Same thing happened with Tim Hardaway Jr. He left the Knicks. Let's with somewhere else. So if anything might happen with him, it's just if we trade him west. Let him go west. I don't want to see him, because he's the type of player that'll come back in the Garden and do like what Miles Bridges does every time we see him. He make the Knicks pay. So let him go, but let him go somewhere else. You know, I just feel like right now, Evan Fournier, I like Evan Fournier. Yeah, I all know that. I was rooting for the man on this team. It's just that to where we need to get to, he's not that player for us. It's time to move on from him. And like you said, Sha, either Julius Randle's contract, them big contracts gotta go. Gotta go. Yeah. Because look, these guys, you know what I'm saying, that the man, Mitchell Robinson, was only getting paid $1.8 million. I mean, he's looking at like, man, come on, I do more than Evan Fournier. This guy I do more than this person. RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly is making more money than Mitchell. I know we're talking about Evan Fournier, but I just gotta throw that out there because I'm like, the money. So these guys want to get paid. It's time to let go. Bring some more money back and bring some more people back. That's all. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought it up, because you just kind of pretty much answer my question about that contract. If Evan Fournier making 20 for that, you got to give Mitchell Robinson $15 million.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Got to give Mitchell Robinson $15 million. Yeah. If you give Evan Fournier $18 million for what he do for the Knicks, which is shoot a 3-point shot, which is the easiest thing to find in the NBA, shooters come out all over the place. You don't find a lot of Mitchell Robinson. You find a lot of Evan Fourniers. You know what I mean? This is a shooting league. But if Richard Robinson can dominate think about Richard Robinson numbers too. There was only 8. There was 8 and 8 but he, you know, so he only 6 more points less than Evan Fournier. But he changes the game way more than Evan Fournier. He got the best matter of fact, Mitchell Robinson got the best PER on the Knicks this year. Then is Obi Toppin. You know what I mean? Because that's how effective Mitchell Robinson is. Mitchell Robinson changes the game for the Knicks. So to me, if you're going to give Evan Fournier $18 million for shooting a 3-point shot, let me reiterate what I say. The only thing he does for the Knicks that matters is shoot a 3-pointer. When you can give somebody like Mitchell Robinson $15 million who offense, rebound, defense, rebound, block shot, putbacks, rebounds. He does a lot of things for the Knicks, man. You know, and that's why you can justify that, and I don't justify that, because you know why? I do think, like I said, you know, I think Quentin Grimes, that's his job. Them young guys going to put a lot of pressure on the Knicks front office this year. And with, like somebody said earlier, I think what Shaw Powell said, with Grimes and IQ that could play the 2, one off the bench and one start and one off the bench, you don't need Evan Fournier. With Quentin, even if you start Emmanuel Quickly at the 2, or Grimes at the 2, vice versa, or whatever, and you put both of them together, them cats only making $5 million. Look at Emmanuel Quickly numbers. Emmanuel Quickly had a lot better numbers than Evan Fournier in the second half of the season. Plus he was assisting. Plus he was rebounding. Plus he was playing defense, and he only made $2-3 million. That's why, you know, it's not about the Fournier, the player that, you know, he's not a good player, blah, blah. I just think his contract is necessary right now on the Knicks with all the young talent we got at that position that can do what he do and a little more. That's the only reason I'm talking about getting rid of Fournier, because I don't think $18 million is necessary for what he does. I think Quentin Grimes will own that next year. Mark my word, I'm booking it right now on Knicks Real Talk that Quentin Grimes will be one of the rising stars on the New York Knicks next year. And I just feel that because of what he could do. And then what he showed me, that cat is a hungry young man making he's like them guys like Mitchell Robinson was, Shaw Powers. They all making like $1 million, $2 million. I seen a tweet for McBride in the last couple of days. He's like, he said everything is working out the way I wanted to. This is McBride. You know what I mean? He like the year went just the way I wanted to. That man gonna come in and he gonna come in the training camp. Cam Reddish gonna come in the training camp. These guys gonna come in there hungry, energy, trying to prove themselves so they can get to be a part of it. And I think that's the reason why you got to try to move that contract for real.
Yeah, I mean, I believe with you, Divine, because the way the starting lineup is going to either be Grimes starting at 2 or RJ starting at 2 and Reddish coming in as the 3 as the small forward. So with Grimes in the mix, it kind of releases a little bit from Evan Fournier. We get someone that can shoot the 3-pointer, but also could play some good defense. And if we could get a good defensive team out there that's moving around and stuff like that in the early part of the games, I think we have a better outlook for the game in a whole. Fournier is not one of the better defenders in the league, and if Fournier is having a bad game, it's not much else that he can really bring to the table. If he's having a bad game, he's not going to get you 10 rebounds. If he's having a bad shooting game, he's not going to get you 10, 12 assists. So his game is a great offensive game. When he's hot, yeah, he easily can be anywhere from 17 to 40 points a night. For that night. But defensively is where he lacks up, and I think that's where Grimes fills that void on the court.
Yeah, real talk. I see that well because, like I said, he's a talent, but here's how you can always tell a certain type of player when they like some games in 9 out of 10 in the NBA. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. When you playing against an opposing guy, they're the offense threat too because we not a defense league like we used to be. See, Knicks is one of the few teams that still play defense like back in the days. You know what I mean? So when Evan Fournier and them guys going up against other guys, they normally offense against offense. But it's some guy in the league when you got a good defensive 2-guard out there, you see how his night go. You know what I mean? Because some guys get up in you and they ain't gonna let you shoot that 3-point ball, or they're gonna put the pressure on you to put the ball on the floor. Granted, Evan Fournier can get to the hole pretty decent. I got to give him credit for that. He really can get in that lane real good. He was doing a really good job of that later on in the year, and I do think that he got a good game there. But I think these other guys just got more athleticism and more stronger, more faster, jump higher, and they quicker than Evan Fournier. Sometimes you see Evan Fournier get soon the guy put the ball on the floor, they blow past him. So and that's Achilles' heel for him and the Knicks defense. Like I said, that always puts Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims and Todd Gibson and them in a tough situation when them guys let them 2 guards get in front of them. Like they going downhill. Mitchell Robinson, all of them got to pull up. And then now Mitchell Robinson guys left, or Todd Gibson, they guys left wide open. Like doing this throwing lob over the top of these guys because you don't let your man get in front of you. See, that was him and Kemba Walker's problem this year. Alex Burks was like that to a degree, where they just be letting the guys get in front of them and start going downhill. Then they're forcing us to bring out our centers and everybody. And if Julius Randle spread out over that way because his boy is out there, or RJ Barrett's man got him stuck at the 3-point line, then it's only Mitchell Robinson against 2 people. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was killing us this year, especially in the pick and roll. Evan Fournier get beat. Then Mitchell Robinson got to defend his man, and Mitchell Robinson got to try to defend his own man, and it was putting us in a disadvantage. So that was my just one of my bigger problems with that, man. But Evan Fournier, like I said, we get into some other things, man. But it is about him. I just hope that the Knicks will find a way to really move him up out of here, just for the sake of maybe him going somewhere where he fit them better, and he can get them what they need. They might not need his defense like the Knicks need his defense. You know what I mean?
Right.
He might be on the team where we need you for what you do. I don't think the Knicks in a situation with the talent that we have to sit there and to let that $18 million sit there. I can't justify it no matter what from a business side like me, who I am, giving him $18 million when Quentin Grimes making $2 million. I do not see it. It's not mathematically smart. It'd be different if he was bringing other tangibles to the game. He's not. Not. If he was bringing defense, I'm like, okay, you know what? The man is a pretty good average defender. He's rebounding maybe 4 rebounds from the guard spot. He's not doing that. He's giving us 2 rebounds. He's giving us 2 assists from the guard spot. I know that's the reason. I just don't think that's you can justify that. Not when Manuel quickly throwing up triple doubles. He a 2 guard. He's scoring 15 a game with 6-7 rebounds and 6-7 assists. And if Manuel quickly can keep that up for a whole season, who knows? Sometime the more you play, the more your percentage might go down. But I think because of the way he played basketball, you get more out of Manuel quickly because of his assist capabilities. The breakdown of defense, the contain the dribble, bring it back out. We set the offense and pop the three occasionally, and he got the ice in his veins. So I know I think that's why I want to move him. But Shy Powell, it's just something we got to deal with, man. We got to come to that fork in the road. Do we going to keep him? We going to let him go?
Yeah, that's the big thing that the Knicks have to really come to a conclusion on what they could do with him. Excuse me. Right now, his stock is up. His stock is a little higher the last couple of months of the season. He shot a good percentage. He even did a little other things that we wasn't used to seeing him getting. A couple of more assists a night, a couple of more rebounds. Not nothing major, but something to you'd be like, oh wow, he got 6 or 7 assists tonight. Oh, he got 4 or 5 rebounds tonight. Much better game out of him tonight. But on the other hand, I think he's someone with a contract if we could move him. And there's 1 or 2. You don't hear his name out there on the trading block much, but there are some moves that I came up with. If we decide that if we want to go big fishing, if we're gonna throw that hook out there to go get a big fish, I got like 1 or 2 trades that could happen with Evan Fournier being a part of it.
Yeah, KJ. I think we're gonna come to that fork in the road, and do we keep him or we let him go. And I just think that I think the Knicks will make the right decision either way. I really trust in what they're doing there. I don't have no problem. I'm not mad at any move they did this year. I really not. I wasn't even mad at his move. It just unfortunately it didn't work out the way we thought it was because of a lot of things. It wasn't only Evan Fournier. It could have been. It's a lot of reasons why things didn't go the way it went in New York this year. But I think it's more because of the amount of money he got. That's pretty much what it comes down to for me is that the money he got, the Noels, the Burks, the Kimbers, and I'm not worried about that because them $10 million expiring. I'm not worried about that. I think Alex Burks was worth his $10 million this year. He did a lot for the Knicks this year. You know what I mean? I think he justified his $10 million. Alex Burks did, especially coming toward the second half of the season. They put him in a situation that he had to be a point guard in New York, and I think he did an all right job with it. He didn't do a great job because there's a lot of things that we see he could have did well for us throwing assists. But as the season went on, he got better. You know what I mean? And he started getting 4 or 5 assists a game and stuff like that. So I think he justified his $10 million. I just don't know about Evan Fournier this year because of the way the season went. Justify his.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the front office been rolling dice since they've been rolling the dice, right? So they didn't know. Let's give them a little credit, just a little bit. They didn't know what type of player Grimes was. I mean, they drafted a player in him, but they didn't know how he was going to translate to the NBA, right? Quickly, second year, we didn't know what was going to happen with him. So is it safe to say these guys take a gamble on Evan Fournier when we had nobody else, gave him the money and just prayed that it worked, right? Some parts worked, some parts didn't, right? So us as Knicks fans says, you know what? The whole season went by. The guy played 80 games. He broke the 3-point record for most threes as a Knick in a single season. All that's good. But at the end of the day, did we make the playoffs? Did we make the play-in? No, it didn't happen this year, right? So now it's like business side. You know what? I just believe that if somebody out there, is a couple people out there that nobody's seeing right now, that the New York Knicks, because this year 3 of them in the front office, they're going to make a big splash, and we all going to be shocked. I'm just saying, as a Knicks fan, like I'm going to give these guys a little break because they didn't know what type of player Grimes was. They know what he drafted. But coming into the New York Knicks, him playing, seeing what he could do on the floor on offense and defense, I mean, wholeheartedly, it's defensive-wise better than Evan Fournier. Right now, Evan Fournier has a better 3-pointer than Quentin Grimes, but Quentin Grimes' upside, absolutely. I love it. They never would have paid. It put like this. If they would have knew that Quentin Grimes was going to have the season he had in the New York Knicks, the New York Knicks would have never gave Evan Fournier a 4 years, $73 million deal. That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
big facts.
guys, we gotta say, you know what? These guys rolled the dice. They was wrong again, rolling dice on him. Okay. How you going now? How are they going to fix it? I just feel like that the New York Knicks brass got a lot to prove, and they will prove it. And I cannot wait to see what they're going to do this year, because this is going to determine if these guys are going to be here short term or long term.
Yeah. You know, like Chop Howard said, now you had Allen Houston, Worldwide West, and one of their scouts out there. I forgot the African name, Nadir.
Dude, something like
that. You had Dennis Smith Jr. as he was in the house. He played with Dallas. He was there. Julius Randle was there. It could be like, but at the same time, Donovan Mitchell dropped 32, and Jalen Brunson had 24. Jalen Brunson was about to go for 40. He was down there. He was killing it in the beginning. He was there on triple-double watch the other night. So, they out there watching the game, whether they were there for that or they just wanted to take in the playoff game. But they could have took in any playoff game. They could have went to the Brooklyn Nets. Worldwide West and Allen Houston went out there for a reason. And the reason was two of them guys. And let me tell you, Worldwide West is Worldwide West. To me, he's not the office executive. He's like one of them underground type of brothers. He got connections. They don't call him Worldwide West for nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. The man know players, he know people. He got that underground vibe with him. You know what I mean? Every side knew Worldwide West. He know how to work in a lot of circles. And then you got somebody like Allen Houston, who and you think about this, it was interesting. The Knicks, I think out of all the teams in the NBA, I think the Knicks make more trades with Dallas than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like they always willing dealing with Dallas.
Dallas Knicks.
Yeah, they that go back for a minute too. I mean, they always willing to deal with them guys, man. And maybe Cuban and them got a report like that. You know what I mean? But I think they respect Scott Perry. He's a well-respected dude. You know what I mean? He's a really well-respected dude. If you don't know the Knicks and you don't know Scott Perry, then you might need to do some homework. He's got cachet. He's got cachet in the league. He done been around the days of the Detroit Pistons when they went out there with Joe Dumars. Then he went on to Orlando, Sacramento. He been around, man. And people respect Scott Perry. You know what I mean? And I think it's easy to deal with people when you got people who you respect. And see, that's been the problem, the Knicks' problem for quite a few years. People that respect a lot of their GMs. People respect Scott Perry, and that's why they mess with him. That deal we fleeced Porzingis. That's why they mess with him. You know what I mean? The deal we got for Derrick Rose, and wound up getting we got Dennis Smith off our hands to Detroit, because why? Scott Perry used to work in Detroit. He good with that organization. He good with them. Detroit, that area. So we got Derrick Rose and a second for Dennis Smith Jr. from them. So I do think that having people like him, Worldwide West, them guys, people underestimate what they could do for a franchise. And Leon Rose, well respected. Yeah, he might have been an agent, but he respected. A lot of players in the league respect him. Matter of fact, Frank Ntilikina just signed back with his brother. You know what I mean? This type of thing. I mean, it's not a big name, but Frank left CAA. Now he signed back with his brother in CAA yesterday. I'm not yesterday. A couple of days ago, he's back with them. So so they and that's what make the front office interesting now, because we got people in there now who people know, respect. Players around the league know these dudes. Some guy they don't know. I don't know that dude. I ain't going there. Phil, that's what I'm going there for. I don't know him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But these guys, they got connection with the younger NBA ball players. They kind of know the landscape. And then and I think it bodes well for it. Then you add the brain trust in there, like Brock Aller and Walt Perrin, and handle the other parts of it. So I think by having Allen Houston out there, who people know, respect, as a great NBA ball player, for the Knicks, it makes it easy to wheel and deal with people. And that's why I'm not too concerned about the front office. I like what they did. I like what they did this year. I just think that Shop Powell, just because of the injuries and the COVID and this and that, it didn't work out. But for the 2 years that they've been in the Knicks organization, I think they did well. They got our team in a real good place, draft pick wise, cap flexibility wise, going forward, and all that good stuff, man. I don't think they get enough credit for all that. But Leon Rose have done a good job for us, man. We got a ton of young talent, ton of young picks. We got a ton of picks coming. We got flexible cap space. What more can you ask an organization to do? That's what a president is supposed to do with a basketball team. Make sure the infrastructure is always there. Make sure we got talent. Make sure we got capability to move forward in a better direction and they brought in the player developers, and I think it's working out for them.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind you, Divine, when you say that, man. I believe the front office, since they've been here under Leon Rose, have done some great things, man. We brung Grimes here. We got Deuce, we got Jericho. We done some. We got Obi here, so some really good things. We brung Reddish here. So they making some smart decisions, and they're not doing as we remember from years before, uh, giving up 3, 4, 5 first round picks to get a older 30-year-old veteran that breaks down before the season is over. So this off season, I believe that the Knicks, with all the trade, with all the draft picks that they have stashed, the first rounds, the second rounds, and stuff like that, I think we're in a way better situation to move forward and possibly, capture something like a big fish. So it is time. It is time for the Knicks to do something. And under Leon Rose right now, this is the season coming up to see if they can put together a team that's going to go out there and work together and try to strive to make some type of playoff play in next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real quick, hey, KJ, and like I said, I do think that with Allen Houston and being out there in Dallas, they didn't go out there just to go out there. You know what I mean? They went out there to do their homework. And that Knicks day, that's what they at. Like, I know right now, Tom Thibodeau working. He's out there working right now. You know what I mean? We know a lot of these guys out there. They're out there working hard. They're out there doing what they got to do. And I think World Wide West being out there, him and Allen Houston, and you got Tiz probably right there in the office working right now, digging out what he could do better, what he can do to get the team back to a respectable level. The Knicks didn't have a bad season. They didn't have a great season. They didn't have a bad season neither. I think they only won, like, they lost 3 or 4 games more than 3 games less than last year. But they also, they won 3 less than last year, but they lost more than last year. But overall, I mean, we've seen a lot of progress in the youth. And we've seen things that can be moving forward, KJ. And I think we got some young stallions down there. And I just think that I don't have a problem with nothing they did this year. Because, like I said, if it wasn't for the injuries, that team would have been in the playoff and they would have been pretty good. I just think that you can't compensate for missing Derrick Rose. You cannot compensate for missing Nerlens Noel. And you definitely can't compensate for missing Kemba Walker. He didn't really give us much. So them 3 players really was a part of this thing. 3 of our major players. Because if you'd have had Derrick Rose, that whole lineup would have been different. You know what I mean? We might not be discussing so much about the point guard all the time if he wouldn't have got hurt. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have bigger issue. But being that he got hurt, so I think if he would have been there, he's talking about maybe a little bit more better scoring. If you talk about Nerlens Noel would have had a season like last year, hypothetically, he wasn't injured, the defense would have been different. You know what I mean? And I just think that the Kemba Walker thing, you can't underestimate that. But out of all the moves we made, that probably was the one I would have said. I wouldn't even give none of the other ones a failing grade, but that move right there, I think, was a failure. I had to call that what it is. The Kemba Walker move was almost a disaster. Let's be real. Let's be real. That was a disaster. Ain't no other way you could put that.
Absolutely. Again, like you said, Devon and Shea, yes, they went and does the business deal. 2 of the guys you've been talking about is Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, right? Okay, let's go to the game. Let's go live. Let's go. If we talk about getting Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson, let's see how they match up against each other now. And just analyze the game. Let's see. Let's watch the whole series. And that's for us too. As Knicks fans, we need to watch that series with Utah and Dallas. Watch the series and look at both the point guards, Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. And just let's see. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is obviously the biggest name, right? But hey, let's look into Jalen Brunson. He has New York Knicks ties, so absolutely they went to the game to scout that. Other than that, they might be scouting other players. And then you're right, Devon. We have a lot of trades with the Dallas Knicks. I call them the Dallas Knicks because all our players went over there. Heck, they might even want to bring Bullock back. We don't know. Because him and Julius, if they think about keeping Julius Randle, bring somebody back Julius Randle like that was Bullock. They had great chemistry together, right? That was good, right? But we don't know what they're going to do. I just believe year 3, this the year they're going to throw everything out there, and it's going to be somebody like this. I'm going to throw something at you guys. The trade I would want to see right now, Miami. We sent Evan Fournier to Miami for Duncan Robinson. The money's match. Give us a young Duncan. Give us Duncan Robinson, and let Evan Fournier go down to Miami. I'll take that. Duncan Robinson plays a little bit better defense than Evan Fournier, and the man can shoot, and he's a playmaker. So that's what I would like to do.
He come from that culture right there, man. You know, just to know that the Knicks was out there in Dallas last night. You know, watching the game. Yeah, we can look at some of the players they got and the money they make. Obviously, Tim Hardaway, $21 million cap hold. Spencer Dinwiddie, the guy, you know, he gonna be there. David Bertrand, you don't want him. He's terrible right now. He ain't shooting that good. Obviously, he can't get Luka. Reggie Bullock, $9 million. Maxi Cleaver, $8 million. Dorian Smith, he just got a deal. I don't know what it is now, but he just got a deal. They locked him up. Bogdanovic, he's not there. Trey Burke, Sterling Brown. Jalen Brunson is going to be that guy on that list for me. He's probably going to go in there. I still think he get maybe 18. If you get between the 18 and 20, I think that's why I say I think Jalen Brunson will give you more than Evan Fournier giving you. You know what I mean? That's why I'm looking at it from a perspective of what he means for the team. He going to give you 17, 18, 19 a game. And more assists, more rebounds, and he's managed a position that's highly needed for the Knicks, other than Manuel Quickly. So, you know, let's say they do a sign and trade, send him out there with Luka Doncic. You know what I mean? Say, okay, you know what? We maybe Randall was out there for that reason. Maybe they said Randall here. Maybe we could send Fournier here hypothetically, and we bring Jalen Brunson back to run the one. Now with Jalen Brunson, whoever. RJ, you, and Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? So you kind of killing two birds with one stone, because if you trade him you sign a trade for Jalen Brunson, you managed the point guard spot, and you got rid of the weak 2 guard position. Now all you got to do is you can throw Quickly in there or Grimes in there to start, and your team got much better. I think whoever's at the point guard for now, Evan Fournier, is not better to me than Jalen Brunson and whoever the Knicks put at the 2. Especially with the athletic 2, who could shoot the balls, get in the lane, rebound, pass, whatever, all around game. So I do think that the Dallas thing for me, if sign a trade, if you can pull that off and you have to keep Randall, I still think the Knicks upgraded their team. I think they upgraded substantially. I think that people watch, like you said, KJ, watch Jalen Brunson for this series. It's important, like you said, and I agree with you 100%. You watch him for the season, for the rest of the series, and you will see what you were talking about. Like now y'all can make that determination, because see, a lot of people think Jalen Brunson not good because they don't see him enough. How many Knicks fans watch a lot of Dallas games? You know what I mean? I think that, you know, but you still get a little more athletic. And remember, you talk about a 10-year player as opposed to a 4-year player in Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? He got 6 years of age left on him. He got a nice upper body in his frame. He's pretty decent up top. He can get in the lane. I love his little mid-range game from the baseline when he got a good game there, and he's shooting. He having some good numbers this year, so I think that's somebody that you got to think about. Shy Power, I think you got no problem going that way.
I think they were out there. I'm just gonna make up this crazy trade in my head. I think Julius Randle might want to be in Dallas. That's his hometown. And he might want to be in Dallas, and maybe they can send Julius to Dallas, get 2 players from Dallas, like Tim Hardaway, because Brunson is kind of taking his position. I mean, no, Brunson's a point guard. Tim Hardaway is not the point guard, is he?
No, you're
shooting guard. Well, maybe they can send out Tim Hardaway and another small contract guy out to I think it's San Antonio for Harrison Barnes to come over here and back up Obi Toppin for
Sacramento.
Sacramento, and to come out here and back up Obi Toppin, being the starting power forward. I think that could be a trade. I'm not sure of the numbers, but I think Tim Hardaway and another one of their younger players, we make a three-team trade. Randall goes to Dallas. He gets away from New York. Dallas sends maybe Tim Hardaway because his money is about the same as Julius Randle, $21 million or something like that, with another player. Maybe we could sweeten the deal up and throw some second-round players in there to sweeten the deal up. And the players from Dallas, they send them to Sacramento, and then Sacramento send us Barnes to be the backup for Obi Toppin. And this way we get off a Julius Randle contract, and we still have some room to play around with Fournier and see what we can get for him.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Yeah, me too. I like that as well. And that's what it is. I think you got a chance to get this guy. You can move him out of here, and I think it won't be hard to move him out of here. I just don't think that it'd be that hard to move Evan Fournier if it came down to that. But here goes Jalen Brunson's number this year, guys. 19. He averaged 16 a game. 3.9 rebounds from the point guard spot, 4.8 assists, on 5 assists per game. That's 35th in the league, and 35th in assists. He was 53rd in scoring, 16 a game. PER 17, that's 61st out of 400. That's good for a lot of players in the league. His numbers is not bad at all. His splits is not bad at all. He was on that was today's game. Today he had 19, 4 assists, 40% from 3 today. 41%. So he's not no scrub by any means. You know what I mean? He's not. You know what I mean? And I think a player like that you can't sleep on. I think you don't get me wrong. I think the number that he got right there. Now I think Emmanuel quickly can get them numbers.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? I think Emmanuel quickly can get them numbers. But so we would have to see. You know what I mean? If Emmanuel quickly can get them numbers, then it's okay. You don't need them. But I do think that he fits the timeline of our team. 4-year dude, Mitchell Robinson 4 years, RJ 3 years, going on 4, right? Yeah, going on to 4. Quickly 2 years. Obi going on his 3rd year. Him and Quickly. So he fits the timeline. He's young. He's not an old dude. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. He's a young dude. You know what I mean? So, and I like the way he came through there. He came through there with Villanova, Jay Wright, national championship. He know what it is to win. He's a pedigree. His father played in the NBA, so it's not like this cat don't know the game. He's been around the NBA his whole life. You know what I mean? And that's like RJ Barrett. They've been around this stuff their whole life. They people, they fathers, and they people they've been around this thing for. So he fits the culture because he's somebody that he's a professional. You don't have to worry about him. He know what it is to be an NBA player. His dad was an NBA player. He played under Jay Wright at Villanova. He won a national championship. He helped guide. He almost helped them beat Utah today without Luka Doncic. Mm-hmm. See, them things factor in the players. Anybody can throw up 30 points. Is he a winning player? And I think since Jalen Brunson been in Dallas, they almost pretty much been playoff bound. He's been a part of that. You know what I mean? So I think it's important, KJ, that we look at guys like that just due to the fact of the culture they've been around, what they can do with basketball, what they do off the court, and they know the game, and he know if we come to New York, Jalen Brunson know what it is to be in New York. His dad played in New York. So they kind of know. Yeah, and it makes the transition easier. They know the Knicks know what they're getting out of him. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with knowing somebody. Sometimes you got to be comfortable with people that know what they can do. Like, I don't think the Knicks is picking Jalen Brunson just because his dad played for the Knicks or just because the CA. That might be part of it. I think the Knicks would pick him because he could play basketball. I think the rest of that, just the extra ingredients to make the thing more easier to deal with. But I think they might pick him because he know how to play the game. And I think you can't sleep on his numbers. And when the last time we had a point guard a whole season averaged 16 points a game.
Facts.
And I think that was Derrick Rose down in 2018 when he had something like that, 18 a game or something of that nature.
Hey, how many of us remember his father, Rick Brunson, that played on the New York Knicks? Do y'all remember his game?
I remember him.
I remember him briefly in that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it again.
No, I'm going to say, yeah, he had he pretty much almost got his father's game. He pretty much played the game like his dad. Jalen Brunson's one of the guys who had kind of that mid-range game right there per se. He short little, yep, he was right there tough, but he had that little mid-range, but he can handle that ball though. He was pretty decent, man. You know, he wasn't no star caliber, but I think he definitely was a decent player. You know what I mean? He emulates his father's game though.
Right, and the reason I'm saying that it's all about anything we go, any business we go, it's about relationships. I believe right now somebody, I don't know if it's father or somebody that works in the Knicks office that's related to him that has ties to Jalen Brunson right now in New York Knicks that works for this. Don't quote me on it, but I believe I heard that before. Not sure, but I'm saying to say we talked about Frank Ntilikini's going back with the CIA. It's about relationships with the agents. About your relationships. I believe that just based on the relationship factor and what he could provide for the New York Knicks, he probably will be a New York Knick, Jalen Brunson. You know, because it's just too much buzz there. It's too much talk about it. And we know how, but it could be something different too. But my thing is, we have a lot of point guards here now. We got a McBride and Quickly in a D Rose. So my thing is, if we bring a guy like that in, what are we saying to Deuce McBride? What are we saying to Emmanuel Quickly? What are we saying to D Rose? You know, because all three of those guys, we look for them to play some more, especially Deuce McBride. But Quickly and Rose is cemented. If they're still here, they're cemented to playing in New York. So we bring another guy in, that'll be 4 point guards, right? If we keep D Rose there. So it's like it's another clog jam. We want these young guys to get more playing time. We want Jalen Brunson to get playing time because we know what he can provide for us. He's in the playoffs now, going against a top 5 guard, a point guard in the league right now, and Donovan Mitchell. And my thing is, if he does well and he's serviceable, we bring that guy in. But what about the other players that we got? Because so long we keep talking about point guards. We have guards right now on this team. So is it the point guard? Is it the point guard situation that's terrible in New York, or is it our forwards, or what is it? Like it's so many different stories with the New York Knicks right now. But we have guards right now, so we can't say we don't have any point guards. We got players that can get in the hole, players that can finish, players 3-point that can shoot 3-pointers right now. It's just the whole team overall. It just didn't mix. So it's like, what team are these guys going to put together now in year 3 of them being in the front office? They have to hit a home run on this because, again, I'm going to keep saying it. If they don't hit a home run this year, we might as well say goodbye to those guys. It's not going to work because James Dolan, he got a time limit. We all know he's got no problem paying people after their contract is up, especially if the Bulls get loud at Madison Square Garden and that's on these streams keep talking about it. To me, this is their biggest year ever, and they have to hit a home run here. So,
yeah. I think you know what? For me, it's all about competition, though. You know what I mean? It is if they bring Jalen Brunson here, if you don't give Deuce McBride the job, you don't give Manny Quickly the job, they got to beat him. I don't care who the Knicks bring in here. If they bring in Donovan Mitchell, you're gonna have to beat him too. You know what I mean? I think if they, whoever they bring in, Obi Toppin will have to beat out whoever they bring in. So I don't think none of them point guards is guaranteed to be on the Knicks. Now Emmanuel Quickly, now Deuce McBride, ain't none of them guaranteed to be here because everybody's expendable. So that because we kind of like them, we know they got a future ahead. That don't mean the Knicks gonna keep them. Knicks can say, like, you know what? I need to throw Emmanuel Quickly in the package to get somebody. So I do think that we hoping that they keep these guys we got because I like all of them. You know what I mean? I hope we keep all of them guys, but at the same time, it's a business, and you got to give to get. You know what I mean? And I think that's the way it is. You know what I mean? When you go among somebody and do trading, you know what I mean? You got to be able to have the stuff to get them back. So we might not see a D Rose, we might not see a McBride. You never know which of these cats might do. They might say, in order for me to land this dude, I got to send you up out of here. So I think they got to do their due diligence on the point guard, the shooting guard, the small forward, the power forward, and the center. What about Mitchell Robinson leave? He ain't even guaranteed to be it. So I do think that I don't think no Nick on there. I think only one the closest maybe not being traded to me is RJ Barrett. Mm-hmm. I think everybody else possibly can roll up out of New York. I just think that's the way that the Knicks would look at it. And know what? RJ Barrett can be traded. You know what I mean? They need to send him away to get Donovan Mitchell. You don't know what the Knicks might do, but I do think, our point guards, like Emmanuel Clee, he's becoming that point guard, but we haven't seen that in the 82 game season. You know what I mean? Shot Powers, we see the man quickly do this for a half of a season. We see, and that's why I said we haven't seen Deuce McBride do it over 20 games yet. You know what I mean? But these other guys, like I just bring up the Brunson, you've seen them do it over a 2 or 3 year career. You know what I mean? So so if the Knicks gonna bank on how do I say it? Promise or potential, or they're gonna say we want to go with somebody. Maybe that's what Tiz did. Shit. Matter of fact, let's keep it 100. You know why Tiz went with Alec Burks? Because he thought that was experience, not potential. Just he'd been around for a league doing it for a while. He was comfortable with it. So is he going to go in the next season having that same mentality? If he had that same mentality, then quickly and McBride ain't guaranteed to be here, because he might say, I want a guy here when I put him in that point guard spot, he know how to run an NBA team and I don't have to worry about it. That's if they go into that, you know what I mean? If they go into that playoff push thing and trying to get to another level, then I don't think none of these guys like that. And that's why we brought the Evan Fournier thing today. Like, the Knicks want to go to another level, or they want to develop Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, then you got to move them to Evan Fournier. You don't move Evan Fournier, that means you wasted the development of some of these guys, Shad. So I think that they got to find a way to, shake it up, man. But we'll see what's out there, man. I know it's all speculation with us. We just out here, having conversation about it. I don't know. I don't know what the Knicks are going to do. None of us know. We don't work for them guys. We just fans out here, talking Knicks. But I do think that they're going to do something. But I did think last night was interesting for them being in Dallas.
Yeah, I thought so too, man, and especially with the front office being in Dallas, with uh, Randall being there also, to be back at home. So I mean, I thought of something real quick that possibly could happen, and I think Julius may be on the idea of maybe getting out of New York. I don't know, but I'm speculating him being, and all of a sudden he's at the Mavericks home game there. Last time he was there, he was talking about this his house and stuff like that, and stuff like that. I'm hoping though that this is a year that is, if we don't go, I'll say it again, if we don't go big fish hunting and get one of these real big facilitating guards out here, one of these prominent all-star like point guards, I believe that we stand fast and go at IQ, and we have Deuce McBride, and we stay with, I think the only player that may have a safe haven on the Knicks as being a veteran, aside from Taj Gibson, is Derrick Rose. I think Derrick Rose can groom these guys into becoming better players at the point guard position. I think he can take IQ under his wing and show him the do's and the don'ts, the things that you can do, like he was doing in the first year that he played together with Derrick Rose. And I think he could really give him the tutelage that he needs to learn how to be that quote unquote point guard. And I believe he will really help Deuce McBride's game tremendously. I think he would help his game so much to show him how to do some of the explosive moves, to show him how to stop on a dime and shoot that jump shot and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would hope that aside from if we make a move, if Randall gets moved, like I said, that hypothetical thing that I just threw out there, if we could get Randall moved, we are definitely going to move Fournier as well, because Fournier, and I hate to say this out loud, but if we could move on from Fournier and Randall and Burks, I think Burks may. I mean, Burks is a throw up. I mean, I know that's a couple of days from now, but those guys going to the Fourniers and the Burks are going to take away minutes from the Grimes and the Reddishes, we have to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing back Burks as well. If we're going to keep two veterans from this team that we have right now, Burks is the number one guy that I would keep. But we have to move on from Evan Fournier to take away some of that because I believe that Grimes right now could come in and do almost as if not better, almost as well as what Fournier does night in and night out. 2-3 games real hot, a slack off game, another slack off game, then another pretty decent game, then an off game, then 3 super hot games. I think he could do what Fournier has done for us this year and at a cheaper price. So I think I'm thinking more, and like I say again, I think Fournier's stock is up right now, so I think that's the move to make.
Yeah, hey, KJ, check this out. If we look at it, guys, um, look at here's the NBA free agents for 2022 season 23. John Wall, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, they all got player options. Gary Harris down in Orlando, they got his bird rights 21 million. Zach LaVine. What did Chicago do? I'm quite sure. You think Chicago going to sign him back? I'm quite sure they're going to give him his money. They haven't. But wouldn't they have signed him already, or they got to wait till the offseason? They got enough time between the years out to get Zach to sign him to an extension. So you got Ricky Rubio. I'm just pointing out a few names that I think that might be interesting. TJ Warren. He'd be there out there this year. Jeremy Lamb, Derek Favors, Serge Ibaka. Obviously, we know that Robert Covington, but we know that a man gonna get signed by DeAndre Ayton. I think Phoenix signed him back. But then Ty Jones, Marvin Bagley's back out down the block. Detroit might sign him back though. PJ Tucker. I mean, you got Patty Mills, Mo Bamba, Dennis Schroeder. Colin Saxton, Kendrick Nunn. He didn't play a lick for the team like this year for the LA Lakers. He had a good year in Miami, his rookie year though. So there's a few names out there that, hey, Kevin Knox is out there. But Miles McBride, Bobby Portis, DiVincenzo. So it's a lot. This is a big free agent year, man. This is one of the bigger free agent years we had in a long time. Carmelo Anthony, Blake Griffin, Marquise Morris, Oladipo. It's a lot of people out there this year. So Mitchell Robinson name down there, unrestricted. So we it's a lot of people that they can go out there and covet, man. And Jalen Brunson's name is right there. Jalen Daniels, I like Jalen Daniels. But I think the biggest one on the list right here is this man for me, Mitchell Robinson. Look at this man make $1.5 million, man. That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, bro.
So
yeah, go ahead, brother.
So out of that list, it is a couple players I like to see. It's one player under that's there that I really like that's underrated to me, and that's the guy from OKC, Luka Dort. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot, and I believe that he would definitely be a great player on the New York Knicks. But I'm looking at some of the older guys that I don't really want any of the older vets that's there anymore. Give me some of these young vets. Right. Only person I would see on there if we can get him was Bradley Beal. I seen that up there. But give me some of the young guys. Or even like I said, we talked about the Russell Westbrook coming in for 1 year if things work out. But a guy we don't need these older vet contracts anymore. Bring a young guy in here that can build with the young core on his team. And that, like I said, Leon Rome wants to go young. So let's keep the young core going because, again, we don't want to sign another vet to a couple years and we got to pay him another $10 million when the team is getting much faster. Kudos to the vets. But, as you get older, them legs go after a while. And you can't keep up. So we don't need that anymore. So.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, man, and that's what I mean. This is a big free agent class, man. Other than the top guys, the 5-6 guys, the biggest name out there to me is gonna be Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna be one of the bigger names out there for me. I think that's gonna be out there. But and I don't think that's other than him, John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. and Kyrie Irving. Them all 34, 35, 41, 42, or 42 million. I don't have a problem with I really don't with John Wall or Russell Westbrook if we could shred the contracts. I do believe that Melo might come home too, Fabian. I don't have a problem
I
with that.
think so. I thought so too.
They're trying to force them to opt out. But yeah, it's interesting, shot to me, man. There's a lot of free agents out there. It's a big free agent year. It's not a lot of the dopest names at the top, but a lot of them. It's not a real. Zach LaVine is probably the most talented one out of everybody out there with Kyrie Irving, James Harden. I would not take James Harden on the Knicks. I don't care what nobody says. Kill that noise. I'd rather take Westbrook to Harden just due to the fact I know Westbrook we only need to get him 1 year. My man James Harden about to get some money for somebody, and that'd be great. I don't know if they're gonna get. That's interesting. So it's not a lot out there. But we'll see. But right now I like what we have down there. We just got to add on and build to it and make that team a little bit more stable, man. And I think we'd be in a good spot. So I'm not too mad at what we have. I just think that we just got to do a little bit of switching out here and there. Nothing major, like I said, Kemba Walker, Nerlens Noel. And then, you know what, Shop, I never think about this here, but it came to me. Niggas might not trade none of them. They might bring Noel in the back, hoping he's healthy. They might bring this guy. I think Kemba Walker might be the only one that 9 out of 10, no doubt in my mind, if any Nick that I think won't be on this team, and I'm gonna pick one as him. Everybody else, I don't know. I wouldn't doubt if they bring the guy. They might not start him. Like they could bring Alex Burks back, but he'd be on the bench. They could bring Evan Fournier back, and he might be on the bench. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do this summer.
It really is, because hypothetically, I mean, if just talking out like you just said, these guys could all come back this year because they're on, that expiring contract. And if we don't move forward to being a better averaging team that we were by the deadline coming up than we were this year, a lot of these guys could be shredded at that time as well. So it's not a big thing it's not you saying that, Divine. It's something that has been in my mind as well, because they may not want to move on from Burks. Noel, this has been one of Noel's this is one of his worst years that he has really had in the NBA. And he may come back and be something to be, if Mitchell Robinson moves on, then we might have to keep Noel next year. That might be our starting center next year, Noel, and we have Jericho Sims coming off the bench for him. You look at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose may be the third part to the three-headed juggernaut of being the point guard. You will have IQ starting, maybe Derrick Rose coming off the bench, and Deuce would fill in on the days that D Rose don't play and stuff like that. We got Fournier. We got Fournier and Grimes. We got Reddish and RJ. We got Obi and Randall. So I wouldn't be super duper surprised if they would do that. I'm don't think that their mindset is thinking that way this year, with the type of year that we had last year, and knowing how the New York fans is wanting change, wanting to move on for some of these guys. So, but there is a big possibility that they don't do much of anything and try to run this crew one more year to the trade deadline, and then shred all these contracts and pick up some guys at the trade deadline and see what happens.
Yep. And that's what I came to me, KJ, is the trading deadline. They might say, let's go back and see maybe healthy. Do I want to do that way? No, I want them to go through the youth mode. I want them to put all them young boys up there in the front. That's the only reason I thought about Todd Gibson and the Carmelo Anthony. That $5 million. Carmelo Anthony probably take $2-3 million. If you could, I don't have a problem with Carmelo Anthony backing up Obi Toppin. I really don't. If you thrust Obi Toppin into the floor for the Knicks, the reason why I don't have a reason with Carmelo Anthony's not trying to be a young diva. He's not trying to be somebody who think I deserve to play in this spot. I think he's just going to be a mentor. He probably come in here, be a mentor to them guys, teach Obi Toppin Think about it. Obi Toppin don't got nobody on the Knicks could ever teach him what Carmelo Anthony could teach him at that spot with basketball. You know what I mean? New York bred kids, they got it in them. Carmelo Anthony, truly one of the best offense players that ever laced up with a basketball. Let's not get it twisted. You know what I mean? But it's not the Carmelo Anthony we had where he might be the man. I need to be that guy with the ball. Man, no, Carmelo Anthony's not even that type of player anymore. I think his experience, his education, and his wisdom, his knowledge, the wisdom, it'll benefit the young man like Obi Toppin, him and Todd Gibson. Look what Todd Gibson did for for Mitchell Robinson. Just think about what he did for Mitchell Robinson. Having Todd Gibson around in them practices, in them things, especially for $2-3 million, $4 million. He only making $2 million now in LA, if I'm not mistaken. So I do think I really would have. I think it would have helped him a lot, man, because I think experience is the best teacher in some aspects, and I think that Carmelo Anthony provides that for the Knicks. You know what I mean? He's gonna retire eventually, so might as well let him go out in a good way. You know what I mean? Send him on, let him send him out in a good way, and I think it would have might pay dividends for Obi Toppin, because I remember seeing Obi Toppin play against Carmelo Anthony in the Summit. They was in the Summit getting down there. Carmelo Anthony used to talk about how Obi Toppin used to do things, man. So I mean, you learn it from one of the best to lace up a pair of sneakers, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he never got to win the ring, but he one of the top dogs in the game. Carmelo Anthony. Listen, the Knicks ain't go nowhere until he got here. He didn't go far, but the Knicks ain't sniffed the playoff till he got here. So I think things like that is interesting, and I think you can get somebody like that for maybe $2 or $3 million. I think it's worth his presence. Sometimes it's just the presence is worth it to a ball player, and I think having his presence in the garden with Todd Gibson, mentoring these guys, man, and showing these young boys the ropes, and let them get them young boys the keys, give them all the keys, but have somebody like Todd Gibson, Carmelo, and Derrick Rose. See, Derrick Rose make $14 million. Todd Gibson and Carmelo Anthony probably make like 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? Tops. So and that's why I think it's more worth it to have Todd Gibson and Carmelo Anthony. And if you're going youth, I'm saying. If you're not going youth, then it don't matter. If you ain't gonna go a youth rebuild like with the Sims, the Cam Reddishes, and the McBrides and all these guys, that's your priority. Then I would bring in Melo. But if that was your priority, I would bring Melo in just for the last 2 years. Let them go out, mentoring these guys. And you never know. And I deal with these young boys going to pop in New York. Eventually, I think these young guys will pop in New York. If it's any vision that I got with R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, Cam Reddish, Mitchell Robinson, I think these guys are going to pop eventually. So I think it's time to get the keys to them. And I just think that we made, but you always got to have veterans. I don't care what team you're on, you got to have veterans. If you don't have veterans, then who's going to teach you guys when they doing something wrong, and they make mistakes because they're young. And I think having guys like that wouldn't hurt for that money, KJ. So I would love to see some of these guys coming in. But I hope the Knicks go the route I'm hoping they go quickly. RJ, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson. I'm hoping that they would go that way, but I'm not sure if that's what they trying to do, but I hope they go that way.
Right. And again, it's one of them things that if we really focus on keeping this team together for years to come, we have to go that way. And I want to agree with our brother Wayne Boggin. He says Brunson's not worth $20 million a year when we still got at an IQ on his rookie deal. No need to overpay a point guard. And I agree with him because it's almost like the Evan Fournier deal. We paid Evan Fournier 4 years, $73 million, but we didn't know we had a guy in Grimes. But now we see what we got in IQ. And if they say, you know what, IQ could be our future point guard, let's go that route with him. And especially if we don't got to overpay for a Donovan Mitchell, now it'd be nice to get him in here if it's a reasonable deal. But a guy like Brunson, just not sure yet if we want to go that route, because then if it don't work, it's like bad. But if it do work, so it's one of them things, you know what, I'd rather go with what we got. So that way, when it's time to extend IQ in them, because look, the following year, we got to extend IQ in Obi Toppin.
Facts.
We're going to need some type of money. So it's like, I do agree with you all. Like maybe we run it back, but we run it back in a different way. We still might get rid of Evan Fournier, but we don't know what we're going to do with Julius Randle because his contract might not be a tradable contract. Nobody might want to take that money on. So you bring in guys like a Carmelo Anthony. You bring in guys like that. You keep a Noel if we can keep him. You keep a Burks. We got pieces here. And again, Devon, to your point, we were 37-42. That's 4 games less than what we 41 last year. So and we all know that this team should have been better than their record. A couple more free throws, 10 games. No Noel, no D Rose. So it's right there. Do I want to go back into the same team again? I don't, but I would change just a couple pieces to run it back again if we had to go that route.
Yep, yeah. For me, and you know what? If you don't move Randall, I think you just change the 1 and the 3. I think you bring in Quickly, and let's say Quickly and Obi move into the starting lineup, and you subtract Fournier and Alex Burks. I think that's the simplest thing to do. Then you roll it with Quickly, what is it? RJ, Obi, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. That's the easiest thing to do if you ain't gonna move Randall. But if you ain't gonna move Fournier, just put him to the bench. But I do think there's no way the Knicks come in the next season, Obi Toppin not starting for the Knicks. I think that would be a bad look. Not what that man did the last 4 games. For the last part of the season, he got better every game. The numbers he put up, and can you imagine him and Quickly and R.J. Barrett and Randall Robinson? I just think they all know how to play together. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad team to roll with. Like don't get me wrong, I don't want the Brunsons. I want the Knicks to start Emmanuel Quickly.
Right.
I really do, man. Because Shaw Powers hit it right on. KJ hit it right on the head. Signing Brunson is like signing Fournier to a degree. You gave him almost $20 million for 4 years, and you might be stuck with it if it don't pan out. When you got a young emerging cat like RJ, like Emmanuel Quickly, who I think he can literally give you the numbers he gave you this year on a regular basis, especially if the team playing better. And I think he can give you the number. Now, especially be playing with Obi Toppin. I think if Emmanuel Quickly started the Knicks with Obi Toppin, he guaranteed to get 5 assists a game alone just off of Obi Toppin.
Look at their last couple games, Devon. Even though their last couple games was against, but think about that. It let them two guys get 25 minutes apiece. 25 minutes apiece between Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin, along with some other people in there. Let me tell you, whole different game. And then you can have the backups in there. So let's see. That's what I would want to go with, because we don't got to pay all these guys this money. But hey, we're not the GMs. We're just fans, and we part of the Knicks Real Talk family, and we just doing our takes here. What we think can make it happen. But it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do, because they got a hard job to do. I would not want to be in their position. Tell you that much.
Hey, you know what? For me, real quick, it's like Emmanuel Quickly 30 minutes at the point, give Deuce McBride 18, right? And then you go to the 2 guard. If you give you can give RJ 30 minutes or whatever, give Quentin Grimes 18 minutes. And then you can interchange. You can let RJ also play the 3. So he's still, he can play some of the 3 spot. You can give Grimes a little bit more minutes. You know what I mean? With Cam Reddish getting his and Obi Toppin getting his. And if you got that core right there, I think they got a lot of positions that can work out real well. Like, let's say the point guard you already got. Let's say you got Emmanuel Quickly and McBride, right? You got that manned up right now. If you sign Mitchell Robinson, you already know you got Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims. You got the point guard and the center spot locked up. You know that. For us, 2 people. So if you roll out the 3, you still can go RJ and Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish only making $5 million this year. He'll be back if they don't trade him. So you got the 3 locked up. So really, all you got to do is say Grimes, whoever going to be behind Grimes or start before Grimes, whoever going to back up Obi Toppin. So your 2 and your 4, you get 2 players, whether one starting and come on the bench. I don't know how you would do it, but I know, let's just say we know Obi Toppin should start. You get a 4, whether it's coming out of college or somebody you get in a free agency, or the 2. You got Quentin Grimes, you look up in the draft, and you wind up getting another 2 or 4 or whatever. I still think you're good. Shaw Powell, I think they got a lot of versatility there, and I think it can work out well.
They have so much things that they could put together right now with the lineups, and like you said, if we can keep Mitch, you got Mitch and Sims. If we don't keep Mitch, you may see Noel next year. We may not go looking for a center. We keep Noel and have Sims coming off the bench for Noel. Hopefully we can move on from Randall and find someone like you said, Mello, or maybe the Harrison Barnes things that I threw out there to back up Obi, and then you have to worry about your two because that's going to be the position that we're going to be a little lacking in. But then again, we got trades, we got players that we could take off our car. We could also have as a two, Alec Burks,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want, you know,
absolutely, absolutely,
if
absolutely.
you want to look at it like that too, you can have Alec Burks as being the two coming off the bench, running with Deuce McBride, So there's a lot of things that they can keep here, keep some of the veterans that they have, and still run with the young core in the starting unit, and I think D Rose would be great coming off the bench if he's here, or being just that piece on the bench to help these guys build the team. Where uh, uh, D Rose will split minutes with Deuce McBride. He'll put Deuce McBride on his wing, and 1 or 2 games he'll play. Then he'll sit out to rest himself because he's a little older. Than the next 2 games, we might see Deuce out there. I think I think Rose would be a big cog for us to keep because I think he would help IQ tremendously. I think he will help IQ so much with him even not playing, just coming off the bench, to have him sitting right next to him and be like, yo, you should have came around here and blah 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 and did this or something like that. So him being on the team, a veteran that can teach these younger players that's coming up how to position themselves, how to make better decisions and stuff like that. I think he would be a piece. So if we can move on from Evan Fournier and Julius Randle, I've been saying that for a while. Those two contracts will open up the whole team. We could let those two guys go, and we still can keep Noel. We still can keep Burks. We still can keep D Rose and stuff like that, and move on from Fournier. Move on from Fournier, Kimba, and maybe Julius Randle, and that'll make the team a way better team. I think we bring some players back, and it'll open up our cap space back up too. And if it's not gelling by the time trade deadline come, now the same players that we have here are movable contracts, and we can move on from that by the trade deadline
Yeah.
next year as well.
Just to answer a lot of wise questions, and Nixon also do this. They can say, you know what, we're gonna start McBride, and we're gonna back him up with we're gonna start McBride, back him up with D Rose. Then we're gonna go to the two with Emmanuel Quickly and Quentin Grimes.
That's
You know what I'm
another way
saying?
of
So
doing it too.
because to me, I thought they should have threw McBride in there beginning when Kemba Walker went out. So I was on
Yeah,
that anyway. I was like, throw the man in there for Kemba Walker. You got a defense-minded point guard. He could shoot the three. He would have had more time to get comfortable. And by the time the second half of the season came, he just like Quentin Grimes, he would have been right. Because would have had enough time to to get that feeling of the game. So they can roll out next year with McBride and Derrick Rose at the 2 point guard. Say, you know what, we put Quickly at the two because they quick 9 out of 10 at the end of the season. Quickly and McBride played a lot of minutes together. They were playing a lot of minutes together, so they can say, listen, we'll start. If we move forward, we'll start Manuel Quickly at the two,
hmm
and let
that's a
Grimes come off the
possibility
bench.
too.
You know what I mean? So that's what I love about this team. They got combo guards. Every four of them, all of them dudes can handle the play if they had to, because the point guard went down. McBride could play the point guard, Quickly could back up the point guard or play it, start it. Rose could do it. And I think RJ, if you need an RJ to play the point guard, he could play it. See, that's what I love about the team that we have. We got a lot of versatile players. You know what I mean? And they're young, they're versatile. They can handle the ball, they can shoot the rock, they can get inside, outside. They do a lot of stuff. And that's what makes a lot of these guys expendable to me. And then you hoping that even if you keep Alex Burks, you just got to put him on the bench. You just make our bench stronger. I think Alex Burks makes the bench more stronger,
hmm
and you implement somebody like McBride in the starting line because you already got some guys who can get the ball. But I think a lot of, as far as the fast break points, Obi Toppin might get maybe 8 points, six points from Brandon Quickly, but I still think that man gonna be like, you know why I think he's gonna be a talent, because he got better with the three ball. I always said once Obi Toppin get that three ball together, it's gonna be hard to stop that young man. because he got the tools. He got the tools. I think going over the summer, you're gonna see Obi Toppin about to get bigger.
Facts.
Coming out of the summer, mark my word, he probably gonna put in another 5, 10 pounds of muscle. He gonna go and work on his game. He gonna get better at certain things because that's what they all do. Obi Toppin will come in here next year, and I think Tom Thibodeau already know what that man could do.
Right.
I think he said, okay, you know what? I got to unleash this man. Let me just unleash it. Listen, I think look at my man, look at my man, and it's not to the point. You don't have to be a creme de la creme. Prime example, my man Trey Murphy. Look at them cats down in New Orleans. My man in New Orleans, 3 rookies in that game the other night to beat the Clippers. 3 rookies in crunch time. Trey Murphy, and Walker, and I'm gonna say his name right. Walker, Washington, I think it was, and Alvarado. Them cats were the reason why they. Obviously, Brandon Ingram was in his bag, but see, you have to, and I think Obi Toppin is more talented than Trey Murphy. The third, I think Obi Toppin. Once that 3 balls start popping, it's going to be over for a lot of guys because now they're going to have to come up on this dude one-on-one and not let him shoot the 3. If that Obi Toppin put the ball on the floor with that speed and that strength, I just want to see him get up in the air more and stop trying to throw finger rolls. Just throw it on somebody so they can foul you. You know what I mean? He shoot a good foul tech shot. His 3 ball looking good. I think coming in the next season a different player. I think you're going to see Dayton Obi Toppin. I just think you're going to see, and you know what? And I don't have no problem. That's why I want to start quickly in the Obi. I had no problem with it if that's the connection. Like just like some guys play together and make a team better. Like to me, I'm not saying they are these guys, but I'm just saying when you got somebody that their chemistry is just that good to make the team better, you have to play them together. You have to start them because there's a lot of guys in the NBA. The reason why they're good because they had a good point guard. Not everybody was good without a point guard. You know what I mean? So yeah, Obi Toppin does need Emmanuel quickly, but so does a lot of players in the NBA. Who Karl Malone. The reason why he was that dope because of John Stockton. You know what I mean? He needed John Stockton to get him that ball. And if that's what it takes for Obi Toppin to be a great NBA player, then he got to play with Obi. He got to play with Emmanuel quickly. You know what I mean? And then I think that's the reason why we get point guards. We need a point guard to make certain people better. And not just think that what he does for him. So I do think that tandem might be starting in New York next year, KJ. I just think they might start him. I just think because you see what it did. You see the results.
You know what the Knicks need to do? They need to call Donnie Walsh on the phone. They need to go consult with that man. And if they go back and compare and contrast the 2012, 2013 team, look at the point guards the New York Knicks had in that team. What we got, right? They had Jason Kidd, Raymond Felton, and Pablo Prigioni, right? Who did the New York have? We have IQ, we have Big Bride, and we have D Rose, right? So, and then the big man, Marcus Camby, Rasheed Wallace, Tyson Chandler, right? Who do we have? Mitchell Robinson, Noel Sims. So you see where I'm going here? And then they had the 1 3-pointer. 2. They had Chris Copeland, and they had Steve Novak, and they had Carmelo Anthony. So you see where I'm going, Knicks Nation, Knicks fan, Knicks Real Talk family. I'm going with we got to kind of mix and match a team like that. And we have players right now. And consult with Donnie Walsh and ask him, how did you work that team together with some young? We had Iman Shumpert. I think he was a rookie that year. You know, we had some young guys there. We had Raymond Felton. So how did he work the young guys with some of the veterans, especially the veterans on that team with Rasheed Wallace, Kurt Thomas, Marcus Camby? I mean, listen, you need to consult with them and say, how can we mix and match? We want to do the same thing you did with that team compared to this year. We have some team here, so we need to figure that out. If we could bring something like that back to New York, guys, we're back to more than 54 wins. Maybe 60, 70 wins with a team like that, you know. But I believe the Knicks have it already. They're young right now. They're so young. We got 8, 9 guys under the age of 25 years old on this team. Hasn't been done like this in such a long time since the 90s. So my thing is give this team some time to grow with each other. I don't want to trade like 5 of these guys, and the next thing you know, then we stuck again trying to figure out, man, we bring this rookie in. Now we got to build him. Now we got to rebuild. I'm tired of hearing that word rebuild. It's about time we build and keep it going.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, there was a majority. That's what that 54 win team was. A lot of veterans on that team for sure.
It was though, D. But my thing is even with that team, I mean, they had the point guard. They had Jason Kidd.
Right. Facts.
And Jason Kidd became a better 3-pointer later on in his career. So we figured we get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, right? He's that Jason Kidd on that team now. And then you still got an IQ and a McBride. That's the three guards right there that we need. But it was the big men that really helped that team out. A Marcus Camby, a Rasheed Wallace, a Tyson Chandler. Then you had Carmelo Anthony, which was a young guy. Iman Shumpert was a defensive-minded guy. Pablo Prigiano. Don't forget, Chris Copeland on that team was a great 3-point shooting team for us. And then you had the one and only Steve Novak. That's all now we talk about Evan Fournier on that team. That's all we needed him for. Shoot threes. Steve Novak was our 3-pointer. We didn't need him for defense. So.
Yeah. That definitely was an interesting. But even with the team moving forward now, you got a good infrastructure here. You got a very good infrastructure. A lot of nice young talent. All you got to do is move a couple of contracts here and there. I think, and I do think we're good at the 1 and 2. I think you got to let Obi. I'm hoping, as a Knicks fan, that Obi Toppin and Manuel quickly is the 1 and 3 next year, or 1 and 4, whatever. Because if they are, then they won game for us. That this team, when Julius Randle went down, no knock on Julius Randle, no knock on them by any means, but this team played different. The energy on that team was so different with them young boys, man. I mean, there was no stagnation. It was more motivation. You know what I mean? Determination. They was getting them hungry dudes, man. I want hungry cats, man. People who I want some cats who ain't had a good meal in 4 or 5 days. That's them rookies. We want cats who hungry, they starving, they gonna go out there and get their money. You know what I mean? And we got a bunch of guys on the team like that. Amanda quickly gonna win his money in 2 more years. Mitchell won his money. They hungry, man. So I like what we got there. But I do think for the next 2-3 years, I think we got a nice core down there. If Cam Reddish pop the way we think he could pop, if Cam Reddish could pop the way we think he could pop, I think. Yeah, I know, man. I know, man. But they need a fast anyway. But you know what I mean. It's good because that when you're hungry, man, you want to go out there and get it. You know what I mean. When you're trying to get food on the table and you ain't got only but so many ways to get it, you go out there and try to hustle to get it. And I think our young players is out there hustling, man. I like what we got. We've been fans a long time, all of us. Salute to the whole chat, man. Y'all on fire as well. But we got guys here, man, that I haven't seen on the team. Like I said the other day, since Miles God, Wilson Chandler, Landy Field, all them guys, Felton and all these guys. We haven't had this much young talent, man, that we can really throw in a couple of people here and there and turn this thing around. Because I do think we go into next year, believe it or not, to me, and I'm gonna throw this out there, Emmanuel Quickly, whoever at the 2. I'm gonna say Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. I know we're a playoff team. If we go in there and it's not Julius Randle, and it's Cam Reddish and Obi at the 4, I still think we're a playoff team. Because with what we have on the bench, you add a couple of pieces on the bench. Like I said, somebody to back up Obi. You probably still have Derrick Rose there. You might still have Burt. But if you don't have Fournier and Noel in them, and you plug in the right 3 players in them positions, I sure think this team is a good playoff team. I think it's a good team. So we got a good nucleus there, Shaw Powder. We just got to make sure we do the right thing with it. And Knicks often just do their due diligence, man, and do it the right way. And whatever happens in the lottery, we say we get a guy in the lottery, and you know what? He the 11th, 12th. They say we don't even get up that high in the lottery, but who we pick can go and play with Obi, maybe at the 4 or at the 3, or we might get a 2 guard or a point guard. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think if you look at it all around, I think the 3-point shooting around the league was almost down this year. Everybody, I think it had a lot to do with that basketball change. But I would say, let's say if everybody come back more better this year, I think IQ will shoot 37% this year. I guarantee you that. I think he'll probably shoot 37 from there. I think RJ probably get up over 35, 36 this year. I do think Cam Reddish can do that. I think all of them do is shoot above league average. Because I think I seen they stroke it. I think if they just got to work on it in the off season and get better at it. But I tell you what they will do though. IQ the defender, RJ the defender, Reddish is a defender. Obi plays all right defense. He can get better, and Mitchell Robinson is a defender. Here you go. RJ quickly can get to the lane. RJ can get to the lane. Reddish can get to the lane. Obi can get to the lane. They multi-dimensional players. You know what I mean? And they talented. So I do think compared to what we got now, think about our team this year. Everybody's selling for jump shots. Other than RJ on a regular basis getting down the lane, Julius Randle didn't even get down the lane a lot. RJ was the only one consistent player on the Knicks this year that went down the rack. That's constantly went down to the hole to get buckets. Everybody else was selling for jump shots, and that's the reason why we are what we are now. You got to have versatile players. You know what I mean? Evan Fournier did it every now and then. You know what I mean? But you got to have versatile players. You know what I mean? And I think that them cats got that in them young boys. I think you've seen what Quickly was doing this year, getting in the lane. You've seen RJ getting in the lane. Cam Reddish could do the same thing. Obi started doing it at the end of the season. So I do think, and then IQ, knowing IQ will throw that ball up to Mitchell Robinson. He'll throw it up to Obi Toppin. He'll get RJ in the right spot. He'll get Cam Reddish in the right spot. I just think that young talent is it's hard to pass up on that, man. I that's what's so hard for me, and I love these other guys. I love Julius Randle. I love Evan Fournier in the game, but I just don't think they fit what we're trying to go right now with the talent we got around us. And I think it's important, Shop House, that we just try to build around these youth guys to put some veterans in there to keep them for a year or two and get them in the playoffs. Then we are pop. You look at it like today. I looked at the Boston Celtics in that net game. If you bring in any one of them dudes, are they gonna be Kyrie and KD? Okay, who you bringing here? Are we going to spend 20, 30 million on somebody if we do bring them here? Or are they going to take Brooklyn out? Or are they going to take Giannis out? Or are they going to take Joel Embiid out? Or are they going to take out DeRozan and all these guys? So if we bring in somebody for all that money and they still ain't going to take them dudes out, why do it? Just roll with the young guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a year from now, them guys will be older, and now they'll be got better, and they be ready to rock. So I don't know, man. Shop House. I'm thinking hope they go the route where they at now.
I mean, the big thing right now, man, and I'm hoping, like you, hoping that the starting lineup coming out for next year will be IQ, RJ, Reddish, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. That is an athletic, strong, pretty strong defensive team right there. And the one thing that we probably will lack a little bit is a little bit of defensive rebounding. But I think without Julius Randle down there and the strong two men that we have up front in Obi and RJ and IQ, I think Mitchell Robinson could grab a little bit more rebounds down there. He won't be that cog that's always out on the 3-point line to help out after Evan Fournier gets beat on the defense and stuff like that. And that'll also have to make Obi learn how to get down there and use his jumping ability to get some more rebounds as well. So I think that young unit right there can start some games, can win some games together, and close out games together. Next year, I believe every last one of the guys I just mentioned are going to come back hungry next year. They're going to want to win. They have it in them. They all have a little bit of dog in them, man. When you don't see when Obi is not smiling and he got that gritty look on his face, like he mad at something, he's ready to play some ball. IQ gets down. He is going to get a little stronger, I think, this offseason. I think he might be another one that put on another 8-10 pounds of some muscle, and he's going to be driving to the hole next year. He's going to be making some more Trey Young like moves going to the hole with his ability to make it to the hole. I think RJ is going to master that foul line shot next year. So now he's going to get fouled, and he's going to make maybe around 78 to 84% next year. I think that's going to be his whole season. Build his handle up a little bit, but I think his whole season, his off-season is going to be about shooting shooting foul shots. I think his main goal is to go out there and shoot 1,000 free throws a game. He may pick up a little short jumper that will help him out, but I think his big game is to learn how to hit the free throw. I with that starting lineup and the guys that we have stashed on the bench, less of Julius Randle and less on Evan Fournier. With those two guys move, man, the sky's are the limit, man. And not to discontinue or put some bad emphasis on any one of those guys' names. They're They're good players, man. Evan Fournier is a good player, man. Randall is a good player. But in order to make the Knicks team right now a better team, we need to move on from those good players.
Real talk. Here's the thing for me, and let me throw this up right there. And KD, I want you to chime in on this. Last year, Obi Toppin, he played 17 minutes a game. He had 9 points. You double that to 34, he give him 18 a game. His rebound to be 8 a game. 17 and 8, I'll take that for somebody making $5-6 million. And I think it's gonna be even better than that, because I think a 3-point shot would be better. You know what I mean? So if you say Obi Toppin, them minutes go up to double. If he gets in the starting lineup and them numbers and he get more minutes, he did that at 9 points a game and he was only getting 17 minutes. So even if he go up to 25, 30 minutes, he's going to be at least a 15 minutes, a 15 point a game. Because you talk about depending on where the game go, another 10 more minutes, he'll still get to 6 points. So now that put him at 15 points a game. And so you can't. I think it's hard to underestimate what you've seen from him. You know, going into the off season, he got to be stoked about what he's gonna go in there and do. Then you look at for me, Cam Reddish is the big one. 14 minutes a game. You know, you can't really give him too much of anything, but he still put up 6 points in 14 minutes. And no matter when he get more playing time, let's say that 6 points a game wind up being 14. Okay, right. Evan Fournier had 14 points a game this year in 20-something minutes. So if Cam Reddish can get that up to 14 a game and paying 20-something minutes like Evan Fournier, then you put a better defender on the floor. You have to look at things like that in totality. And Amanda Quickly is the biggest one to me. 23 minutes a game this year, and he averaged 11. Same thing in his rookie year for 11 points for 23 minutes. So let's say his minutes go up 7-8 more minutes, 28 to 30. He'd be at 15 a game. Because all you take, I think if we go up to 28 minutes, 29 minutes, let's say he goes 30 minutes. Do you think he can knock down 2 threes in another 9 minutes?
Absolutely. And he showed that, D.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm intrigued about, man. You know what I mean? It's things like that, because I know the efficiency might go down a little bit, because the more you play, the more chance your efficiency might go down a little bit, but I still do think that their numbers will go up, though.
Right. No, it definitely will, especially a guy like Obi Toppin. Again, these guys they're looking. They know how much everybody making around the league is. It's public knowledge. You could look up, you could Google how much this person is getting paid. Obi Toppin puts people in the seats. Slam dunk. Little kids go to the game. It's a business. Look what Obi Toppin is getting. 2020 for 2025, $9 million. I mean, he's like, you know what? Let me work on this. Let me work now. So by next year, the Knicks can extend me going to next year's summer, so I can get paid. Mitchell Robinson did the same exact thing. IQ's only getting paid $2 million. So it's like these guys want to get extended. I know if I'm in the NBA, I'm looking at the money I'm making. I'm like, man, look, I did more than that guy. If I work hard this way, I can get the bag. It's about getting the bag. Everybody's talking about the rings. But you know what? To me, it's about the money. I know everybody wanted a ring, right? But you mean to tell me, say, you know what, Devon and Shaw, I'm giving y'all $25 million for the next 2 years to come over here to OKC. You know what? I ain't win no ring yet, but you know what? I might not ever get a contract like that again. I'm going to take the money. And I know guys can't say that, but my thing is get the money. Go after the money. Now, Obi Toppin got drafted by us, right? So it's like, let's see what he can build here in New York City. He wants to stay here and get the money at the same time. So I think Obi definitely has to be a starter next year on this team. Definitely. It's time to break him out. If he's not a starter, at least paying 25, 30 million a game. Both of them, him and IQ, they have to. Because if not, we're going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think that guy, like I said, with Obi Toppin showed me at the end of the season with Dayton Obi Toppin. He showed me what I see from Obi Toppin at the end of the year with the Dayton Obi Toppin, the one that won National Player of the Year. Even if you look at his numbers in Dayton, he was hitting the 3-ball good. Obi Toppin got a good stroke, man. He know it. He is going to be the real deal, man. And I think that think about this here. What if, and even when he went through last year, he had to only play behind Julius Randle. Sometimes basketball is a game of rhythm, and I can't emphasize that enough. We all know that. You can miss your first 2 shots, but wind up like hit prime example. Donovan Mitchell, he had 1 for 9 in the game the other day. Was that today or yesterday? The game he had 1 for 9. He wound up with 32 points. You got to be on court longer to be able to produce more. I think that young man got what it takes. He do things for the Knicks that's important. The easy buckets. What we say, we always. Why do you think the Knicks was bad with Julius Randle and that before? And what did Tom Thibodeau say? When Julius Randle is running up and down the court, he's at his best. Am I right or wrong? He said when Julius Randle is running up and down the court, he's at his best. Because if you ain't running up and down the court, you stagnant. You allow a defense to set themselves and defend you. Well, you don't have that problem with Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly. They are not no stagnant ball players. They always moving. They like poetry in motion. They fluidity. They always moving. Obi Toppin is something I wish Julius Randle had in him. And that's what makes this thing interesting because you got to be able to get easy buckets in the NBA. The people are too talented when you stagnant. You know what I mean? And I think that when Obi Toppin really get out there and play full starter minutes, watch that cat produce because he does things that some guys in the NBA can't handle. Some of them dudes ain't fast enough to keep up with Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin like a damn wide receiver or a tight end or something. You know what I mean? Shaw Powers, he makes the game interesting for the Knicks. Now that the 3-point ball is coming down, that mid-range, you see what he could do, and you seen what he was trying to develop. So watch this man coming into next season. Remember, you don't practice a lot in the regular season. You know what I mean? Because you travel so much. This cat going to work on this game. Him and Emmanuel Quickly, I'm quite sure. Him, RJ, Cam, all these guys going to be working on their game, man. They gym rats. You can imagine Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett getting at each other in the summertime. You can imagine IQ and these guys and Grimes all getting at each other in the summertime. I just think that they got to make it happen, man. I'm not me. I'm not a flipper. I'm not one of them. I don't deal with feelings and emotions like that, man. I play to say if you're good, you're good. I believe if you're not, you're not. You know what I mean? But I don't get caught up in the feelings and emotions like these cats, man. It's about this here. If like I said, Evan Fournier, prime example. Yeah, Evan Fournier he was disappointed in me, but I'm not the one trying to run Julius Randle out of New York. I have a problem with Julius Randle, so. A lot of these other cats do. I don't get caught up in stuff like that. It's about the numbers, man. I only deal with numbers. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up.
And on what you just said about numbers, Divine, these are stats for Obi Toppin. When Obi Toppin gets 20 minutes a game, from 20 minutes a game, he scored 16 points. He rebounds 6 rebounds. His field goal percentage is 59%, and his 3-point percentage is 34.3%. You know how many times Obi Toppin has played over 20 minutes this season? 20 times. 20 times. 3 times. The last couple of 20 times he has played over 20 minutes, and these are his numbers. So that 17 points that you're talking about, yeah, he could get that. That
Get that.
6-7 rebounds a night, he could get that. His percentage wise from the field goals is 59%. His 3-point percentage is almost 35%. And he started off this year, I think he was like negative 10. He had a low percentage. I think he was like 10, 20% for the 3-point. But once he got out there, he got more rhythm. He got more time out on the court. He can make the shot, and he shoots a pretty good free throw shot as well. So in 20 games over 20 minutes, he scored almost 16 and some change points a game. That's big time right there, man. So you give him 30 minutes, you could possibly see him around 17 to 20 points a night, man.
Right,
You know,
absolutely. And I think and KJ hit it right on the head with the see one thing about people like Obi and IQ and them, you know what's different from them than Randall and them? They demeanor. So it's players here. Bump hard as much as Frank used to give us all of what he couldn't do. You know why the fans never turned on Frank like that? Because his character, his demeanor. They turned on Julius Randle because of his demeanor, not
right.
because of his game, because of his demeanor. You know what I mean? We seen that dude stick up the joint in a couple times when he first got here. A lot of cats want to trade Julius Randle, but I don't think the fans turned on him. They just feel a lot of guys who follow like all us do, who in the chats, who on Twitter, who on Instagram or whatever. They the ones that's more, want to trade somebody. I think Knicks fans, if you play hard, you good to go. Why did we get out Julius Randle a lot this year? Because we seen him lollygag. Am I right or wrong?
Facts.
You know what I mean? They lollygagging. He not putting in a lot of effort. You know what I mean? But if your character good, you ain't trying to be, think about it. Knicks was 21 and something. That arena stay filled up. The Knicks fans just want to see good people play hard basketball. Go hard and go home. That's the mentality that make New York what it is. It's a hard place. It's hard. It's grimy. It's gritty. And if you ain't showing that grit and that lunch pail, hard hat, carrying that lunch bag type of mentality, people gonna be like, nah, he didn't want you up in here. And I think when Randall did that this year, it kind of swayed him to the other way. Because Randall, he was one of them dudes last year that went like that. He was hard. He went hard. He played with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. But I think that screwed him. But I don't know, man. I think Obi Toppin and IQ is good for the Knicks. I think they're good for the Knicks. I think RJ Barrett good for the Knicks. I think them three dudes right there is going to be what you build around. I think RJ Barrett, Manu Quickly, and Obi Toppin is that young. I'm not talking about talent-wise. It's Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. I'm talking about them three dudes. Not the talent, what it means to the organization. That's what I'm trying to say. I think them three dudes you move forward with, at least them three. Obi Toppin, Manu Quickly, and RJ Barrett. I think you pencil in that. You pencil Mitchell Robinson in with that, KJ, and you pencil whoever else you want with that, whether it's Cam Reddish or whoever, I don't know. But them three dudes, I think you should kind of put the pieces with them. And I hope that Mitchell Robinson back to throw in that fold. And if it ain't Cam Reddish, then it's somebody else. But them other dudes, I think you got to roll with them. I know we got to get out of here, man. I know the brother got to punch the clock. We got to get on our grind in the morning and make it happen, man. We'll stay on for another 10 minutes till we get up out of here. 11:15, we get it popping. But I do think, KJ, we got a good thing going on in New York, though.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is relationships. Well, we don't know, and we talked about this before. We don't know what guys really hang out with each other. We know locker rooms are different, but just by the sense of looking at all the young, it seems like all the young guys, they get along with each other, and that's what you want to see with some of the veterans. The only veteran I think that'll really be here next year is Alex Burke. I think we keep Alex Burke.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe this is who I believe that will be going. I believe Noel's going. I believe Evan Fournier is going. I believe Julius Randle's going, and maybe D Rose. I think Taj Gibson will be a coach of the New York Knicks. They're going to keep him, and he becomes a coach. That's 4 or 5 guys you got rid of. So we got to bring in other guys now. We feel some of the people that's free agents divine that you put on there, like a Monk, like a Gary Payton II. You feel it. You feel your young veterans in there here and there, because We need them. We don't need to get these older vets anymore because the NBA has changed. We've seen what happened with the New York Knicks the past 10, 20 games. They got more faster. They got more younger. IQ and Obi Toppin looks like the second coming of Stockton and Malone or whatever. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, little things of that nature. I go with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, I guess, but they look like a whole different team. And this is what we got excited about. We want to go into next year saying, you know what, like we feeling this summer, man, we didn't make the play in the playoffs, but man, we got a nice young infrastructure and we want to continue that. So that's my reason why I believe that the New York Knicks will have a whole different team next year, and they're going to hit a home run with somebody.
Yep. Yeah, real talk. Yeah, man. You know what? It's interesting, man. We all throwing out a lot of scenarios, and in which that's what we're supposed to do because we fans, man. We fans. We just want the best for the Knicks. That's all to it. We want the best for the Knicks. And I do think that yeah, absolutely, man. They are, and I think that's especially with this year. Julian, salute to the whole chat too, man. Salute to everybody, man. But I think you're right about that. And like I said, with this big free agency, not a lot of big names, but it's a big amount of them. It's gonna be a lot of wheeling and dealing. It's gonna be a lot of wheeling and dealing this off season. You can guarantee that because think about a lot of teams who might get knocked out. What we're gonna do? Are we gonna want to keep these expensive players? Or are we gonna want to bring somebody else in to try to make it better? You're gonna have a lot of people, man. That let's say if the Los Angeles Clippers now are they gonna say we're gonna bring in somebody to play with Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, or they might find this another way out? You know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot of teams out there doing some things that you might not realize. Let's say if Utah, even if they don't let's say they don't move down to Mitchell, but what if Utah cap out? Are they gonna break that up? Or are they gonna say we got to go bring somebody to play with this dude or that dude? It's gonna be some will and deal because anytime you lose in the playoffs, you're gonna want to get better. I think the Dallas Mavericks, Luka went down with the injury. He's gonna be out 2 games. And I think the Dallas Mavericks are gonna upgrade because now they got Luka there. You ain't nowhere in the world you ain't gonna try to fight for a championship. You don't get Luka Doncic almost $200 million, something like that. So you're gonna have to always try to make sure they in the playoffs. So that's where the Julius Randles and the Evan Fourniers come in at. These cats can literally upgrade a playoff team. They can upgrade a playoff team, and I think that they're going to be out there for the taking. And if we keep Julius Randle, fine. If we don't, fine. I think we'd be good with them or without him. I still think we're going to be good. I think Julius Randle is just a talent. I just think hopefully he can learn from what he went through this year and come back as a different player. With a different mindset. But at the same time, like I said, we'll see. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting off season. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the draft. I want to see what we're going to do with that 11th pick, whether we're going to move it up, whether we're going to trade it, whether we're going to go out there and get a young stud, like I said, long walk permanent here. I'm not concerned about where we draft that, to be honest with you, because he's got an eye for talent to me. So no matter if you're picking 11th or you're picking 4th or you're picking whatever, and if the Knicks feel like they got a will, if somebody who they really want, are they willing to sacrifice another draft pick in another year draft to move up to get what they want? So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Shot Powell's going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing going on this summer. I hope the Knicks is in there for the right cause.
I'll say it again, like we said all night tonight. Emmanuel Quickly, R.J. Barrett, or I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna change it up a little bit on this one. I'm gonna say Emmanuel Quickly, Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. That could be one of our starting units this year, or it could be IQ, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. That's more on the lines of what we're looking for the start of this year. And who we bring in after that is all dependent on who we let go from off this roster. I believe a lot of the names. If we keep Mitchell Robinson, Noel is not going to be here next year. I believe if we can move on for Fournier and Randle, if we can get off of Burks, Kemba, and I think we either keep Burks. One of the two is going to stay. Burks is going to stay, or D Rose is going to stay. One of those guys is going to stay, and I think Taj goes to the to the clipboard and behind the scene with his with being a coach next year, hopefully. So this could free up some space for us. If not, he'll be our final 15th man on the roster, I believe. So let's see what happens, man. Great for Evan Fournier. I'm gonna give Evan Fournier a solid C this year because he turned it around this year. He at the beginning of the year, I had him all the way F. I was ready to ship him out. I was tired of him, but as the year came on and he got more used to his teammates and the players that he was on the court with, he got better and ended up breaking the record this year. So I'm gonna give him a C just for being here and staying committed to the team. He's inconsistent. Some games he's on and off, but I'll give him a C just because of the comeback that he had from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I second that. I'll go right along with you on it. I'll give him a C as well. I think that he like I say, he started off slow. He ended up pretty decent for shooting wise and everything. So I'm with you on that C. I'll give him a C as well. I definitely have no problem with that.
I'm going with a C plus. Broke the record, had it off and on season, back and forth, and played 80 games.
That's big. That was big.
C plus.
That's what I want to see right there. If they don't trade Randall with all our wives got up there, I would love to see that right there, bro. I think that's playoff for sure. I think that team right there, if you don't trade Julius Randle, that's the team I would love to start the next year. Right
That
there.
wouldn't be bad either. If we don't trade, that means we have with Allah Wise peace. With that roster that we got right there, that means we move on from Evan Fournier. One of these contracts got to go. Evan Fournier got to go. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but one of them have to be moved, Evan Fournier or Julius Randle. And if we can move off of Evan Fournier, that's going to be a crushing starting unit right there. And then you look at the secondary, the bench, that's going to be also a lit bench right there too.
Yeah. Listen, you took out Evan Fournier and Alibert, put Obi Toppin and RQ on that 1 and 3 with Randall, Mitch, and RJ. That is what I'm talking about right there. So that's what they should. That I would love to see that lineup right there. I just think that's man. I mean, because they all can get up and down the floor, all 5 of them. You understand what I'm saying? All 5 of them dudes can run the floor. Mitch, Randall, Obi, RJ, and IQ. You talking about pace? IQ pushing the ball, lobbing it to Obi, lobbing it to Mitch. RJ down the lane, Obi topping. Randall pulling up at the 3. He popping the 3 ball apart. I think that's a good team right there. I would love to see that. I really would. And that's the key right there. Listen, you replace that 19 million with this 15 or 12, 13 million, whatever. You take this Evan Fournier 18 out, you plug in that 14 to 15 million right there. So you did yourself good. You know what I mean? Then you're coming back with what, McBride or Derrick Rose, Grimes,
or Reddish,
and Obi, Randall, and Cam Reddish, or Randall and whoever, or Randall and a draft player, or Randall and a free agent, Mitchell and Jericho Sims. I think that's so legit right there, man. So and then, like I said, Randall come back with a different mindset. If that's what he really want to do, that's what the Knicks really want to do. They bring him back, then allow Wild for the lineup. To me, that should be the Knicks starting lineup next year. Yeah, Fabian, that's what I think we should do. Pick up a power forward. Absolutely. I'm on that right there. And that's why I thought about the draft. If there's any nice young boys in the draft who can come in there and grow with that team, backing up Obi, just like Obi did Randall. Now let another young cat who can come in there and get some minutes and do the same thing. You know what I mean? And we'll see. CP is in the house. CP3 is killing it. But that was a good one, man.
Facts at a lot wise.
Oh yeah, true indeed. God peace. That's real talk, man. That team, it'd be hard to keep up with right there. We all talk about pace and everything.
Yeah,
and rebounding too. Because now you got a better rebound than RJ at the 2 to Fournier, and you got a better rebound than RJ at the 3 with Obi. So now, and your front line got a little bigger. You know what I mean? Because you got 7 foot, 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", whatever, 6'8", 6'9", depending on what Obi is. RJ 6'7". Your team got bigger. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
That is a
strong up there. And I do think that let's say OB cancels out Evan Fournier defensive wide. The other four can get it if Julius Randle put in effort. So it's not a bad team, man. Wow, that's real talk.
I'm definitely the more I read a lot wise piece, as more I read the comments, man, it's sounding better and better because now you have a bigger front court now. Now you have the 6'8", 6'9", Randall, you got the 6'8", 6'9", OB, and you got the 7 foot, 7'1", Mitchell Robinson down there with 6'5", 6'6", RJ and IQ. That's a defensive jug. I mean, I think he's gonna come back this year and be so on the ball with his long arms, man. So
Yeah.
Yeah, fast. But listen, man, guys, we could do it all night, but we got to get out of here and get ready to get on the grind. Thursday night, we do the off-season player edition number 3. It'd be RJ Barrett. We had Julius Randle last week. Yeah, RJ. We did Randle Thursday. We did Fournier tonight. The next player number 3, end of season player review gonna be RJ Barrett on Thursday night. So we get everything popping for that. Get all the video, get all the stats and everything. We get it popping, man. And you cats is on fire up in there. We appreciate y'all coming in as always, man. We really do, man. The chat is where it's at. Y'all wise heads up in the building. Always keep us keep us on our P's and Q's. And it's good, man. Like I said, y'all the visible chat, our third cousins and all that good stuff. But we got to get out of here, man. And listen, man. Julian, peace. I'm glad to see you, man. I'm glad to see you doing well as well. You up in here, man. We appreciate you, Julian, and all everybody else up in the building, man. We're gonna get up out of here and we're gonna get it popping. We got my man Shop House, KJ Adventure, our brother. Give me your last take so we get up out of here.
As always, man. Thanks, Devon. Thanks, Shop, for letting me come on the platform. Talk my Nick Real Talk family talk with all my first cousins in the chat. Appreciate all y'all. Wherever you guys are at and ladies out in the world, God bless you and your family. Be safe, and we'll see you on another edition, Nick Real Talk.
Facts. Shop power.
Salute KJ, or as always, Divine. You already know what it is. Salute to the chat is where it's at. My person out of the chat tonight is Allah Wise. Peace to the God. You came with some strong stuff tonight. That's like you scratched my head right here. And that big lineup that you talked about with Randall, OB, and Mitchell Robinson really got me thinking real hard about that lineup if we keep Randall. So let me just keep saying we need to move Fournier then.
Right. Yeah, that time is up, brother. But man, salute to everybody. Listen, man, great show as always. Appreciate the chat always, man. Salute everybody where y'all watching and streaming them from. Thank y'all for coming amongst us, being amongst the family. Like I said, we'll be at it again Thursdays and Sundays. Knicks Real Talk, end of the season review. We get it popping, man. As always, man, y'all gotta enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe and all that good stuff out there, man. And y'all go ahead and handle your business, get on your grind, man. And we see y'all Thursday night, 9:00, Knicks Real Talk. We get it popping, man. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Allah Wa, Fabian, Julian, D. Ross, Akuma, everybody, man. Just keep it popping real quick. Everybody, man. Fabian, once again, Julian Canal, Nick P. Peace. Everybody, man. Y'all guys already know it is. Canal, again, Laker for life, fan for life. Salute to you. 19 Com, man. My brother, salute to you as well. Frank Mato, salute to you. Everybody, man, y'all catch up with the D Cool, my man, salute to you as well. Wayne Bogdan, salute to you. Fabian again. I just want to make Parrish, my brother. I want to lead up by King Ribby. Everybody, man, salute to all. And let's go, man. Y'all, like I said, have a safe week, man, and everything, man. And we see you cats on the flip side. Cash Out, my brother, KJ, Shaw Powers, all the brothers up in here, man. We see y'all. Hey, Stafford, my brother, salute, man. I'm sorry.
Big up yourself, Stafford.
Stafford Don.
I already know what it is. Stafford, the man. So we'll holler at you, my brother. But everybody, man, y'all have a great week, man. And we see y'all Thursday night, and we get a popping once again. Knicks Real Talk, Divine, Shaw Powers, KJ Event, the chat. Y'all know that's where it's at, man. Y'all have a good one, man. We out of here, man. Peace.
Let's get it.